All right, welcome to ASN Pull Up a Chair. And tonight we have our first returning guest. If you remember episode one, Mike came in and talked to us. Geez, Mike, what did we talk about? It was like 2 hours, along with, I think Grant was on that call, or was that Ian? No, that was Grant.
Grant
Yeah,
and another
Tom.
person, Tom.
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 Tom
Yeah.
was on. Tom Abbott. Yeah,
Yep.
we just kind of shot the breeze there. Kind of
Yeah. It
a
was
lot of
just
stuff,
like,
but
yep.
yeah, a lot of good stuff. Well, today we got a little bit more of a structured program, if you will. Really, kind of three things I thought we talk about. One is definitely want to hear where your LEAP project is at, along with kind of a little more dive into co-op play, because
Okay.
I've been getting a little dirtier with the co-op. And we probably should even talk a little bit about our XHL, which is coming to at least the regular season is coming to a close. That's been a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
we can talk about that.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about my 80s legacy tournament that I got going, and then a little bit about the Baseball America I tried to kick off and
Okay.
mess around with that, and kind of what my feelings of that set are of somebody who came in cold because I hadn't done any of the sets before that. So I have kind of probably a little unique take on that. And then the
Yep.
last thing I want to talk about is something that was a little hot because I always like to talk about what the hot topic is. And I think the hot topic this week is hybrid play. And when I talk about hybrid play, and when Ron and I talked about very small talked about hybrid play, we got into the whole discussion around manual entry into software. So
Hmm.
you're playing the games out on your desktop, but you're putting it into Digital Diamond, you're putting it into Action PC now. For you, putting it into
Green Fox.
Green Fox or it's Purple Wolf, and there's all these other tools out there. So
Hmm.
the I know that Dave and Ron got a little bit into it, but they really didn't hit the potential bumps that we're starting to see this week for the first time. And I'll get into those. But I'd like to
Okay.
hear since you're a guy who definitely uses third-party software, you don't run
Hmm.
away from it.
Right.
You're depending on it right now for your co-op.
Oh,
That
absolutely.
it'll be interesting to talk about that. So anyway, those are the three things. So why don't
Okay.
you go ahead, Mike, if you don't mind, kick off what's going on with Leap? I've seen some, but what's the highlights of going on? Where are you at, and what's going on?
Well, we are wrapping up block 9 as we speak, waiting for one series to come in. There's the guy I'm waiting for. He knows.
Right there.
he's
Is it
he's
that
got
one right there that's on the screen, Micah?
yeah, yeah.
Hey,
He's got
Micah.
he's got some other things going on in life, so
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah.
But no, we are will be 432 games into a
Wow.
2,592 game schedule
This isn't your
using.
XHL schedule, is it?
This is no, this is not, and we do not use Express in this league. It's History Maker Baseball, full version of the game. Um, I came into having to do a replay with this when the set came out, and then last June when I was in Denver, talked to several people about what they were going to do with that card set, and everybody didn't seem to have an idea what they were going to do with it. And I looked at it and I said, I could play a small tournament, but is that going to really give me a true idea of how good these teams are? And I said, let's go full blown season and see what we can do. Open it up to a co op. I have 6 guys that most of them, and they each have a team. And then Brad will play his team. He's the manager of the Cardinals, Brad Fowler. Micah is the Cleveland Spiders because
Shocking.
in 2040, Keith added 2 expansion teams, so there are 32 teams. And I know I'm not from Cleveland, but I'm just not big on the Guardian. I get
Hmm.
it, but I just thought the
You
Spiders
could have
would have been kind of neat to revive the Spiders and maybe get people to forget about how bad they were. But um, so I've got a few other guys: John Wise, John Heckel, James Hart, and Ryan Bean. They each have a team. I manage for the Red Sox. not doing too well with them. We have just completed 27 games. I'm 13-14 in the North Division. What I did was broke up the 32 teams into 4 regions: North, South, Central, and West, and put the 8 teams that I felt belonged in those divisions. Uh, the idea wasn't totally mine. Maybe the teams, the way they're set up, was mine, but Rob Manfred has hinted down the road that this is where Major League Baseball is going. He'd like to see it
Mhm.
regionalized. Um, and so I said, all right, let's go with 18 divisions, kind of like they did way back when in the 50s, where there was 8 teams in one league and 8 teams in another. But now we've got 32 teams. And it has been just a fun project. Anybody out there that doesn't know what the LEAP project is,
That's where I
or
was
the
going to
car,
have you go next.
or the card set, Keith Avalone from Play came out with this. I think it was last April,
Mhm.
and it is baseball, um, Major League Baseball in 2040, kind of a projection. So a lot of the players are fictional players, but being Keith, he has put in young stars from today's game out there. So now they're 15 years older. Paul Skeens is now pitching for Arizona. Probably wishes he was still with Pittsburgh, because if I talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates in this play, you're going to be amazed. Um, I'm trying to think. Jackson Churio, who's a
Yep.
big Brewers fan, he is on Pittsburgh and performing very well. One of the leaders in home runs for the league. And he would be probably 38 years old, I think, in
Mm.
2040, roughly around there. Um, Wyatt Langford from the Texas Rangers. Um, he's on St. Louis. Brad has him, and then Cam Kiminiti with Ken.
India
Yeah, he's out
Guardian.
there. Yeah, so it's been a fun adventure. I really love the guys that are playing and helping me out with this, knowing that this wasn't going to be a project that was going to be done this summer or
No,
by the end of this year.
I was going to say there's going to be a next year thing for sure.
This is going to go into the next year, but I understood that, and I wanted to get a whole season in and see what these teams were, and maybe, as people are watching, they'll get interested, say, hey, I want to get that set. Right now I don't think it's available right now,
Mhm.
but Keith has a way of bringing those back, and I'm kind of hoping that people see this. The 20 each team. There's 32 teams, an expansion team in Nashville and a third team in Texas, and it's each team has 24 players. I expanded the rosters to 28 by using the leap cards and free agent cards. So each team was able to get 4. Now, without looking at any team, I put them in piles of leap cards and free agents, rolled dice to see how many leap players you would get, how many free agent players. So you could get up to 3 of each. So if you had 3 leap players, then you got 1 free agent. Didn't look at the strengths of the team, so there are teams that probably could have used help. Now we look at it, but it was an unknown, didn't know any of the teams, and that's the way it is.
Talk
So I,
talk a little bit about the leap players and what they are. I mean, I know what they are now that I played it a little bit, but for somebody who
yeah,
hasn't had the set, what is a leap player, and how did Keith once again completely change how we play History Baseball?
yeah, I don't know how he came up with the idea. I know in 2025 or 24, whatever, in the Baseball America, he came up with the players leap cards that they already. What a leap card is, it's double sided. So if you're a pitcher or a hitter, you have 2 sides. So you have your regular side card, which is your normal, what you would play through the whole season with your qualities. And there's something on that card that triggers you to leap into I guess, all-star status.
Mm-hmm.
So, for an example, I have a starting pitcher named Carr on Boston. If he hits the flash quality anytime when he's pitching, you flip his card over, and he actually he's one of a few pitchers that has triple flash, which means strikeout, strikeout, strikeout.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts an inning and he's already triple flash, and that flash comes up in the game. He struck out the side just like that.
Except, and I'm just going to drop this in so I don't forget this, Mike, that I just had a game because I'm playing the Baseball America set. I had a double flash. Runners on runners on first and second,
Okay.
tie game, bottom of the ninth, 2 out, double flash comes. Look over, it was double flash, but with the glasses. Look over, questionable umpire, game over.
Yes.
He walked both batters. So it's like, oh my God, he walked 2 batters at the end of the game back to back because he had double flash. Imagine a triple flash if he had the questionable umpire behind the plate, he'd blow the bases, or even worse. So
absolutely,
it's just hilarious that kind of stuff happens. But that just happened to be in the game today.
Yeah, it could be any quality. It's really depends on a hitter. It could be, if he hits a slugger, then he flips over. And in our league, we play those players as elite players through that series. They don't continue on to the next series.
After this, okay.
I've got enough bookkeeping and stuff to keep track of. So we just kind of said, okay, so obviously you want to hit your leaps in game 1 so you get them. I've had situations where, a guy leaps his last at bat in the 3rd game of this series. It's like, oh, well, what a waste. And what's neat about it is they also can go back to normal as they're pitching. So they can go back and forth in a game. Let's say my guy who had the triple flash, if he hits, I think on his card, if he hits gilded, he reverts back to his normal self, which is only a flash. And I think he's triple flash, and then I think he gets the ace quality too when he bleeds. So it really adds to the game. I'm going to talk about an instance the other day, and I think I text you immediately when it happened, because this is what's so crazy and so fun about the History Maker baseball game. I'm playing the Pittsburgh Pirates. And all you Pirate fans out there, you only have to wait until 2040.
both of you.
The Pirates, and I'm just going to flip over here, are in the North Division, and they started the season 5-3, not bad. And as of today, after 27 games, they are 24-3. They have won 19 games in a row.
I don't think I've ever duplicated that anywhere.
No, I did a 67 Red Sox replay, and I had a 10-game winning streak or 11-game winning streak, and I've had an 11-game losing streak. But this is just incredible. The thing is, they're not running away with the division in the North. The Yankees are 22-5, just 2 games behind them. The Yankees are right there. But this Pittsburgh team they've got great pitching. They've got good hitting. They've got everything. They kind of remind me of the Dodgers of today. They're just loaded. Yet, and we've talked about this before, the Dice know. Somehow the Dice know that Pittsburgh is on the table, because they get every role. I've never seen anything like it. They get every single role you could. If they need the decided die, it comes up. If they don't need it, it doesn't come. It's just incredible how that all plays out. So the other day, they're playing Cincinnati, first game of the series. Cincinnati's got a 6-game losing streak. Pittsburgh jumps out to a 9-4 lead, just bashing them. I think they had 5 home runs in the game. Go to the bottom of the 9th. I bring in a double flash control pitcher. It's not a save situation, so I did bring in the closer. And base hit, base hit, base hit, base hit. All singles, but all moving one at a time. So then I bring the closer in. He gets one guy out, and then he gives up a couple more singles, and is now bases loaded. It is now 9-8, and I'm like, wow, their 16-game winning streak is going to end by their bullpen blowing this game. So it's 9-8, bases loaded, and I roll on the memorable plays chart. And it says if shortstop is gold, make spectacular catch of a line drive. And I don't know all the players' qualities or anything. I the Red Sox they do, and I said, oh God, there's no chance that shortstop is gold. Not only was he gold, it also triggered him to leap. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, nobody's going to believe this. And sure enough, so he makes the catch, runners can't advance, and then the next guy rounds out to third, game over, 9-8. Make a long story short, Randolph is the shortstop for Pittsburgh. Very next game, first inning, because he leaked, he's now a home run king. He hits a 3-run homer in the first inning.
The dice knew.
Yeah, and
they gave him his props.
Yeah. And
Cincinnati was on a 6-game losing streak, or that was their 6th loss too, right? So they were about to end a losing streak and screwed it up.
Yeah. And the rest of the series didn't go their way. Pirates have now won 19 in a row, and the Reds have lost 9 in a row.
Oh,
and
wow.
And I'm pushing probably 700 to 800 games of History Maker baseball. And that is one of those games that stands out. I had to print out the score sheet because it was like, you just cannot believe this. That's happening. Awesome. And there's been a lot of good games. And just so happens, Block 10, Pittsburgh is at Boston.
Oh, boy.
So Pittsburgh,
get your opportunity.
Pittsburgh, which has been my kind of other favorite team, is playing my team. I am 13-14. I'm 11 games behind Pittsburgh. So,
oh, geez, you got to take 2 or 3 there.
Yeah, the nice part about this project is the way I set it up. The division winners each get into the playoffs, and then the next 2 teams in.
That's good, Brad.
Yes, yeah. The next 2 teams in the division, second and third place, will get in as wild cards. So there are 8-team divisions, but only 3 out of those 8 make the playoffs. The top teams will all get buys, and then the other 4 teams will be seeded and play each other, and so on until we get to a championship. But we're probably looking next April or May for that to happen.
What if you were to get, and I'm just throwing this out to you, we've never talked about this. If you get to that amazing spot like this, you're getting there, you're getting really close this winter. Would you consider a face-to-face, maybe little convention, if you will, for maybe the playoffs? That'd be with all the guys who are in it, maybe all coming together, and because that's a huge achievement for everybody.
Yeah, I think I've had some thoughts about doing that. We'll have to see. I've had some thoughts of, I do have a YouTube channel, but I just haven't put anything. Usually it was just playing games on there. Yeah. I've started to think about putting some of those games on, like maybe Game of the Week or whatever.
Or Twib or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, just to talk about the league and where we're going and how it's going. So, yeah, those are ideas that I do have.
Go ahead, sorry.
I will be bringing the game to IndyCon and Digital to Dice, and there's going to be guys there that are in the league. And even if you're not in the league, if you want to play and History Maker Baseball, but you don't have the set, we can sit down and play a series.
I'm in. I'm going to bring my set with me, and I may play a few games while I'm there.
Yep.
I'm still going to get into this. I'm just playing around with this new shiny new toy I have on the table, but
Well,
I really want to get back into this because I think there is nothing like. I played just for a little bit, as you know, just to
mhm,
kind of get the feel for it, and I wanted to get the digital diamond all set up with it. So I like everything's all set up for me, ready to go if I want to just do my own season.
right.
But I got so deep into that leap piece because anytime you provide something like that, it's like you provided a whole new game. Like the XHL is so different than playing the NHL
Yeah.
because of that
Yep.
2 point shot and just the little things that you added to that the pregame shootout and the intensity that brings to the third period is
hmm
amazing.
It is.
Um, and so that those when I get those kind of games on my desktop, they're hard to get off because I'm like, wow, this is just so different and so much fun. And that leap thing is so cool. That takes you away. Everyone
Yeah.
talks about what's that boring part in the middle of the season that you can't get past playing Minnesota against Detroit. Sorry, Minnesota Detroit fans, but when you get that game, you're like, I'm not a Minnesota fan. I'm not a Detroit fan. These
hmm
two teams are lollygagging near the end of the thing, and I got a couple of pitchers who one's probably going to get bumped, whatever. But if you get the leap thing in there, that becomes a little bit of fun. What would really be exciting to hear, Mike, is if you start to put together some stats around just the leap players, because how are they doing? Is there any of the leaps that are really struggling? Is there any of the leaps that are really kicking some butt? And I would, as the games start to get into maybe All-Star break or something, that to see how some of those guys are doing, because that would just be interesting to see that type of stuff as well.
Yeah, it would be. I'm not sure. See, right now, well, we could do it overall, but I wouldn't know like what their stats would be when they were a elite player
Not
because
not in the league, yes,
yeah,
yes.
but
But I mean, but if they
overall,
are a elite player, are they?
yeah,
Because maybe
yeah,
they're not. Maybe if they're doing subpar, maybe it's because they haven't leaped. But
right,
yeah,
right,
yeah, it would be
yeah,
hard to keep stats just as a leap player. But I
yeah,
just meant that you are a leap player, have the opportunity to leap. What is your,
right.
how are you doing? I just wonder.
I know Carr does not lead the league in strikeouts, even with triple flash, and he's triggered
Wow.
triple. He has triple flash quite a few starts because it's hit the flash, so it's pretty easy to do. Um, so I think there's two New York Yankee pitchers that are just dominating in the pitching department. So, uh, but that's not to say that by the end of the season he doesn't end up leading the league.
Mhm.
I know there's a reliever, and I don't know which team he's on, but he is also a triple flash. He might be on the Orioles. I don't remember. But
Mhm.
for guys that are interested in that, there are two uh, Otani-like players, both in my project, both in the North. One is on the Red Sox, and there's another one on the Baltimore Orioles. And on the Red Sox, his name is Mohammed,
Mhm.
and decent pitcher, decent, really good hitter. And Romo, I think, is even a better hitter than Mohammed. But they both, Dr. Sam Beckett, have a quantum. Oh,
Ha ha.
uh,
Got to know
no,
Edie's TV for that one.
no.
That's
Although
good,
I,
John.
although believe it or not, I think there is a guy named Beckett in the league. I'm not sure which team, but I'm pretty sure there is a Beckett. I don't think his name is Sam, but there is a Beckett.
That'd be funny. If
Yeah,
there was, that would be Andy's
if it
elite player. That would be really cool.
wouldn't surprise me if we go back and look at it. It does say that it would be something Keith would do.
Yeah, it
When,
would. See who would
when,
catch it.
who would catch it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How is the two-way player doing for the Red Sox? Since I know you're deep into him,
Um,
you're deep into the Red Sox. That's your
yeah.
team. So, how is he doing?
Now that he's in the batting lineup, he's doing very well because I'm so involved in everything. I overlooked it.
Yeah, I remember me
And
telling you about it. I was like, "Hey,
I think it was you that brought
yeah,
that to my
yeah,
attention, and I'm like, oh, great, because at the time my hitting wasn't that great. I mean, my team it's home run or nothing really with Red Sox.
mm,
Uh, so I know since I've put him into the starting lineup, he is batting close to 400, but it's limited. as far as his at bats and things like that. Pitching wise, he's doing fine. But I do have some sub stats. Brad has gone and done a little deep dive on certain
Way to go,
stats and
Brad.
things. Yes, really interesting. These are through 24 games, so they're going to change a little bit. But as he says, no surprise, the Yankees and Pirates are the 1 and 2 teams in just about all the categories. The league, they have the league best. The Yankees pitching staff has a 2.31 earned run average, so they are getting really, really good pitching. Pirates have great power arms. They're averaging 10.49 strikeouts per 9 innings. The league average is 9.79, so they're a little bit higher than that. Pirates slugging is just crazy. They lead the league in slugging percentage. He had 36 home runs, but in this series against Cincinnati, they hit 11. So they've got 47 home runs in.
Dang.
Yeah. So
that's how many games? You say like 30?
27.
27. It was close to
20.
30.
Yeah,
Okay.
20. Yeah, close to 30. The two Yankee starting pitchers are on pace. One's on pace for 252 strikeouts. The other one 232.
Wow.
They're 1 and 2 in the league.
So Mike, how do you handle pitching? I keep going with the stats, but I'm going to throw in some questions every now and then because people who may have this or may want to get into a co-op. How do you handle the pitching? I mean, you've got 1970s pitching where everybody does 9 innings. Doesn't matter if you gave up 11 runs. And then you got 2000 pitching where you gave up a base hit. We have to take you out. How are you managing that as a commissioner across the league?
I pretty much leave it up to the guys that are running their teams, how they want to handle their pitching staff. Now, I set up all the pitching rotations based on how the cards looked. So the goal is to, I think after block 10, we've played 30 games, is to take a look at how teams are doing with their pitching staff, because some teams have actually 7, 8 starter cards. So there are some starters that are not, but they're not strong pitchers, but maybe they want to put somebody in, just change the luck. I mean, sometimes I've seen workman pitchers who go out and pitch 7, 8 innings and they're fine. People get scared with that workman there and think,
that and the struggler.
That and the struggler, everybody's looking at ace stars,
yes,
pitcher, and you say, okay,
and at least control.
Yeah, but we basically, the rules we use is 3 innings of fresh and 3 innings of semi-fresh for the starters.
Yeah.
For what I can see, most guys are letting their pitches go 6 innings.
Okay.
There's
kind of like today's game.
Kind of like today's game, yeah. 5, 6 innings, and then going to the bullpen, depending on how strong your bullpen is. Some of these teams, their bullpen is worse than if you left the starter out there. So that's kind of how we handle that. Just how the feel of the game is going.
Right.
I saw somebody, I don't remember who it was, their starter gave up 6 runs in the first inning, and he ended up pitching 7 innings and only 6 runs that he gave up. That happened. It happens.
That does happen.
You need a guy to eat up innings because your bullpen is taxed.
Right.
So you say, you know what? You're in there for the next 5 or 6 innings, and that's it.
Hopefully you don't embarrass us too bad.
You're taking one for the team. So
absolutely.
I haven't seen anybody really go crazy there. Everybody seems to be, handling their pitching staffs just fine.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, that sounds like you got a good group of guys who are, pretty much all in the same kind of thought process.
Yep.
They're playing the game that's handed to them, the cards that are handed to them, and trying to stay realistic. It sounds like from yesterday, if I use the entire bullpen, I'm not going to just bop them all back in the next day.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? If the closer went the last 2 games and saved 2 of these 3 games, he might not pitch that third one,
Yeah.
depending on how many innings he pitched. So that's kind of how I play, just when I play on my own.
Yeah.
So I just wondered how you were handling it. I love to use Digital Diamond's pitch count that they do, because it really helps me. Like, because sometimes you just get into the game and you forget
Hmm.
that that guy's still in. He's been pitching 2 innings out of the bullpen already, and you're like, it turns it orange for me, and I'm like, oh, that's right, I gotta move the bullpen guy. So, but yeah, I mean, because I think that's where it can get out of hand, where somebody gets a great reliever and they decide they're going to pitch him for 3-4 innings every night, and then now your
Yeah. Yeah.
stats are getting
Yeah.
skewed, But it sounds
Yeah.
like you don't have that issue in your league, which is
I
really
haven't.
nice.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I see. Even I will pitch a relief pitcher an inning, maybe 2,
Mm-hmm.
stretch him. If he's pitching well and he's got good qualities, I'll let him pitch, and then go to another one. I don't use 9 pitchers in a game at this point.
Okay,
It may be 6
less
innings.
extra innings.
Yeah, it depends on who the team is.
Yeah.
They may play an inning here, and go 3 innings till you get to the closer. And kind of same way when I play my Baseball America in the co-op league, I handle my staff the same way.
Do do you pay attention to the lefty righty?
I do at some points. One of the one of the really strange things about this set, the Las Vegas team
Yes,
has an all lefty rotation, so it's kind
and
of
they don't
hard.
suck.
No, in fact, they are on top of the West with a 19-8 record.
So
Two,
go
ga-
figure.
two games ahead of the Dodgers, and the Rockies are 17-10. So the Rockies are even. Keith, I think, showed a little favoritism for the Rockies and said,
Way to go,
right,
Keith.
let's get a good team in Colorado. So, but
That's the
Vegas,
only way it's going to happen.
here's the Vegas. The 5 starters are 14-6, all lefties. They've pitched 151 innings, earned run average of 3.57, 157 Ks, and they've only walked 14 batters.
Wow. You're all DH, right? As well.
Yes, all DH,
Okay.
all DH, and their WHIP is 0.99.
Wow. They're going to be trouble in the playoffs if they make it, if they continue, because pitching, I've noticed, because and we'll get into my stuff that I'm doing in that 1980, but pitching makes a huge difference in, any game. I don't care what you're playing, strat, anything. When you get dominant pitching, just like in real world, right? I don't know what their bullpen's like. You can tell me what their bullpen's like, but I don't know that and it has been my only criticism of History Maker Baseball. And there is no perfect games out there. And Mike knows how much I love History Maker Baseball. It's sitting on my desktop right now, so I'm allowed to criticize it. My only criticism of HMB is the lefty-righty splits. It's just 2 spots, I think, in the entire thing that can really make a difference in whether you get a hit against a lefty versus righty, or strikeout. That was the other one. Same side strikeout.
Yeah.
It doesn't take into account a left-handed hitter who really hits right-handers well, and a right-hander who hits left-handers well, and vice versa, not hitting well, or a left-handed pitcher who really kills lefties. That is not going to be taken into consideration in History Maker Baseball at all. So it's the only criticism I have of it. So that's why I was wondering when I said to you, do you take that into consideration a lot? Because I can say, as I'm playing, when I play History Maker Baseball, I almost don't take it into consideration at all, because it's so odd to even come up with that. It comes up maybe once a game, but it's not enough for me to say, like I was doing lineups for these teams for the Baseball America, and I'm like, I'm going with a master lineup, first of all, because the benches suck in this product. There are 8 to 9 guys on the team who can hit, and then there are 4 guys who just don't know how to hit. And so why, just because he's left, or right, and just because the pitcher's left or right, I'm not substituting. I'm going with a master lineup, 9 players basically on so far of every team I've seen so far. I'm trying to make some realism by maybe resting the catcher 1 of 3 games, but outside of that, there's not enough in the game to make me want to flip
Mhm.
lefty righty for me.
Right.
So that's just kind of, but again, I could break down every single game right now, every single product out there, and talk to you about what's negative on each one. This just happens to be HMBs.
Mm. It's funny because even other games that I play, I don't I play the lefty righty thing probably as much as I should. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. There are times I think it's overrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are outliers where a guy bats 450 from the left side and 220 on the right side. Those big disparities, yeah, then I would consider it. But if we're talking, he's 295 from the right side and 288 from the left side. So
Yeah.
damn close. So damn
Oh yeah.
close.
Yeah.
What does it really matter? So I you know,
But then
I and
comes
I,
into play the pitcher. What's the pitcher against him though? Or not
mhm,
against him, but against righty lefties. And so yeah, if that's 220, then yeah, there's no.
yeah,
And I haven't done. I'm not going to sit here and say I've done all this research to know that that matters or doesn't matter. But all I know is that as a manager of the game, when I'm
hmm,
setting my lineup with
yeah,
this product,
hmm,
it's not something I worry about at all.
right, right,
That's just yeah, now, and that may be a good thing because how many in real world they're like, okay, one pitch, fly ball. Okay, we got to bring him a lefty because they got a left-hander coming in. Now he threw one pitch. Now we're going to go grab the righty out of the bullpen because they got a righty up. If we had to, if you did all that, and I have in games where it's really close to the ninth inning or
mm,
whatever.
yeah,
I got Mike Schmidt coming up, and I got a left-hander on the mound. I'm probably going to flip to a righty unless he's my closer. But just out of because that's what a manager would do. But I don't need to do that in the sixth inning, in the seventh inning, the eighth inning, and I don't. Unless
hmm,
again, it depends on the situation. But
right,
overall, a game in April, I'm not flipping the pitcher in the seventh inning just because
right,
it's lefty righty,
right,
especially in this game. So
yeah,
anyway, I just wondered
yep,
if you did that.
yep,
I have zero issue with the statistics, none of that stuff. So don't anybody take that the wrong way. I just think that's one of those things where that takes that managerial overload, and as you say, some mythical process in some places out of the
hmm,
game, which may
yeah,
be a positive.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny you mentioned. I do have the stats for the bullpen, thanks to
Oh yeah,
my
for the A's
for the
or whatever you
A's.
call it. What do you call them in your league?
They're the
You
Las
stole my
Vegas,
name.
the Aces, the
Yeah,
Aces.
you stole
Yeah.
my name that I wanted to use. I think
You
that's
can
such a
still use it.
great
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
I think they
Uh,
should put that. I think they should take that in the real world. I love
I
that
think
name
they
because they
should.
could do so much with that.
Yeah, yeah, they really can. Yeah, their
But anyway, go ahead.
bullpen. The starters their earn run average 3.57. The bullpen is 2.52. So they've got a strong bullpen also.
Okay.
So they've
So
got
wow,
yeah.
what kind of hitting do they have? Who's their hitters?
I don't have that in front of me.
But
They're
in your
not.
mind, do they have
Let
some?
me.
They must have some
They
hitters
do
that are
have
that
some
decent.
hitters. Yeah, yeah, I'm looking at their run differential. They got 32. So they got some decent hitters. Um, I just don't have that in front of me at this point. But yeah, um, yeah, Brad. I noticed Brad was putting he uses
Yeah,
platoon.
he
Uh,
platoons.
Brad is fun because I when I get his score sheets, I can. He's probably the only guy in the league that uses pinch hitters.
Ah,
So he'll send me his sheet, and I'll see the I think it's the
yeah.
pink line on Green Fox in an inning, meaning okay, he put a new batter in, um, and he probably leads the league in sacrifice hits too. No matter what
Okay.
team he plays, because Brad is he plays his
Oh, Brad, they're the
Cardinals,
same.
the Cardinals, and then he plays other games for me. He says, "Hey, Mike, I
Mm-hmm.
got some time. Give me a series, and let's see how we do." That's what he says. The bench guys got to eat too, so that's why he
Love
plays
it.
them. Which
Love
is
it.
fun. It's great. I think it's great. I love how he handles that, and he's always worried. Well, Mike, am I causing too much for you? Because he goes, I know you got to enter all this stuff
Statistically,
in.
yeah.
I said, no. I said it's fun. I enjoy it. I don't play the game the way you want to play and how you want to manage. That's the way it is. Uh,
It sounds like he plays, Brad. It sounds like you play almost exactly like I do because I do even though I just said that, I got my
mhm,
starting nine and that's it. I'll get to the eighth and ninth inning. and I will try to let the bench, especially if the game's out of,
A
first
blowout.
thing is if the game's a blowout, I'm going to let the bench eat.
Yeah.
If it's close, probably not. But if I'm at my
Mhm.
8 and 9 hitters, I'm considering it. Even with a DH,
Yeah.
especially for the pitcher, you're going to. If
Yeah.
you're using some, like I'm doing that 80s legacy tournament, I'm hitting
Right.
pitchers all the time,
Right.
or pinch hitting for them. But, you get those, all they have is scrapper and utility, and they're your number 9 hitter, and you happen to have a guy on the bench who's maybe got slugger because he took the day off,
Or yeah. Or a
or
semi slugger. Yeah.
yeah, you got something on the bench, something, maybe even nothing on his card is better,
Yep.
because there are a few of those guys.
Yep.
I'll pinch hit them in the ninth, because especially if it's like the shortstop, for instance, or the catcher. And because if you're losing, it's like, well, I have this attitude of, well, if I tie the game up, then I got something to worry about, but let's get it tied up first.
Mhm.
This is kind of the Sparky Anderson old thought process. Let's
Yep.
worry about that if we get there, because that would be a good thing.
Right.
We're not going to manage for the 10th inning when we're losing.
Right.
I think that's what he used to say. You manage for the 9th inning.
Yep.
So yeah, so that's a pretty interesting. Brad, you and I play this, and the sacrifice hitting, I will sacrifice. If I've got a guy who's, especially, and I'm just going to talk about a history maker baseball. If I got a guy who does not have any slugging qualities, he's utility, blah, 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 blah,
Mhm.
scrapper. And I got a runner on first and nobody out. He's bunting. Not in
Yeah.
the first inning, not in the second inning, and I'm not pulling a squeeze bunt, Mike. But he's but if there's a runner on first and nobody out, and that guy's up in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning, I'm almost always bunting.
Mhm. Yep.
Again, depending on the score, it's 9-1, I'm not bunting.
Yep.
5-1, I'm not bunting, but if it's a 1-run game or 2-run game in the 7th inning, I'm probably dropping a bunt for that guy. So I love doing the sacrifice hits too. Now that'll bring me to my second criticism of the game. I don't like the bunt chart because it doesn't take any kind of consideration into whether these guys can bunt or can't bunt. The number 4 hitter has just as much bunting capabilities. If you use the basic rules and not somebody's
Mhm.
really nice chart, there's some nice charts out there. But again, that's not going to incorporate the player, because they're
Right.
not rated for bunting. You know what I mean? They're not
Right.
rated for hit and running. So other games do, but that's other games. That's not here. So, but I tried to play that realistically. I'm not
Mhm.
going to sacrifice my number 4 hitter, even in a
Right.
fictional league. If he's my
Right.
number 4 hitter, he's not bunting.
Right.
I got him in the number 4 hole for a reason. My
Yeah.
8, 9 hitters, I probably won't even bunt my 7 hitter, but my 8, 9 hitter, again, anybody who doesn't have a slugging quality is up for a
Mhm.
sacrifice hit in my mind. That's how I
Right.
play it.
Right. Right.
And then that way I can keep that. I'm not crazy. Number 4 hitters got 32 home runs and 17 sacrifice hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
going to look good.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's kind of what I do. But how about
Yeah.
you? Do you do a lot of sacrificing, Mike, when you play?
Not very often. I mean, when I played my '67 Red Sox replay, I did because that's what you did back then in the '60s. There was a lot of
Yeah.
bunting and things like that. In Baseball America Co-op, and then there's this league. No, I don't do it. I will do it, but I don't do it as that much. I really don't.
And today's game really doesn't. I guess that's the old. I always I like to think I'm Sparky Anderson when I pop on that. When I got that dice in my hands or the fast action cards, and I manage that way.
Mhm.
I'm using the bullpen. I'm trying to. I want my big boppers to hit my runs in and blah blah blah. Johnny Bench, Foster, all those guys. But when Dave Concepcion comes up and Cesar
Yep.
Geronimo, I'm going to ask them to do what they do best to help
Yep.
us win. And that's just kind of my mindset as I play every game. It doesn't matter the decade that I play, which is probably a bad thing. I don't know, but that's just how I play.
Yeah. No, I think that it's. I mean, if you stop and think about how much sacrifice hits do you see anymore or bunts in the
Yeah.
modern game, you don't.
You really don't.
So for the 2040, it's probably really wouldn't it exist?
Yeah.
15
Or maybe
years.
they bring it all back.
Maybe they do. Yeah. So,
It's an art, though. It's
It is.
absolutely an art
Yeah,
to
it
bunt.
is.
If anybody's played baseball before, you'll know that's not as simple as it looks.
No.
But then again, pitchers, are able to do it all the time. But there is an art to it. And there's a strategy to the first baseman and third baseman and where they go and what they do, and what the catcher and pitcher do, blah blah blah. But I don't know. I just think it's a great way to get a guy in scoring position with less than 2 outs in a ninth inning, and you've only been able to process 1 run across the plate thus far. So I'm going to try and if it's 9-8, why am I bunting? Your guys are hitting. I'm letting them hit. But if it's 2-1 and we have not been able to get darn done, and now they got the closer in, I'm dropping a bunt. That's there's a lot to me. I guess more than as we just talked that there's a lot more that I think about than I thought about.
It definitely is. I mean, I do the same thing with the pitching and making pitching changes. I really do, and I'll look at 3 or 4 cards and say, do I bring him in? His qualities look good, but he's got that one bad quality, and if I bring him in, the dice know, and I'm going to roll that bad quality, and so. I just don't pull a guy and say, okay, I'm going to put this guy in. I look at the cards and say, okay, situation here. And I will look at lefty righty at that point. But again, like you said, it doesn't really. But you're thinking like a major league manager and you're saying, okay, this is what they would do. If it's a lefty coming up, I'm bringing a lefty in. So I will do that,
Yeah, when I go like into a start of an inning, for instance, in Digital Diamond, it lists out all the pitchers and the side that they pitch from, and at the top it lists out the 3 batters coming up. So I definitely look at that. And if I got 3 right-handers coming up, I just don't think I'm bringing in a lefty unless that's my closer. That's my closer. I'm still doing it.
Right, exactly.
But if it's the 7th or 8th inning, I'm bringing in a right-hander if I can. If I'm the A's in your league or the Aces, maybe not. But
you don't have a choice.
But I'm not going to bring in a crappy right-hander if I've got a good left-hander available.
Right.
So I'm trying to use common sense, if you will. But I agree with you. And sometimes the managers don't use common sense. They get so into the the analytics nowadays. Got to bring in the right-hander with a 4.5, even though I got a left-hander with a 2.1 ERA. And no, the left-hander probably should have been your choice there, dude. But it's hard. It's hard to go through that. But of course, then we put them out there in the dice now, and you get 3 back home runs. Should have brought a left-hander.
Right. I think what really brings it out is when you do make that move to bring in a lefty and the batter is a lefty, and you roll that 3-5-6, and it's a batter and pitcher the same strikeout, and you say to yourself, I made the right move.
I did.
Yeah. And it seems like it happens quite a bit. It's just so weird how that all plays out.
Well, Brad just said he had saved a game by putting in a defensive goal replacement. Yeah. So that is something I've mentioned on a previous show or sometime rambling. The one thing I don't do enough of, and you talk about managing, because this would be something you would do in the dugout, Mike, if you were a manager. Yep. You'd be looking at that 9th inning and who you're putting out there on the defensive side. And I don't do that. I know I don't do that well enough. And I can't sit here and say there's a moment where I went, oh, crap, I lost the game on an error, even though there's been some. I just had a game, I think it was yesterday. A guy tripled into the left field corner on an iron left fielder who booted it, and the run scored to win the game. So it was a walk-off triple error. However you want to put that in the newspaper. And so had I replaced that left fielder with just an average fielder, maybe even an iron semi, maybe, I don't know. I have to go back and look at that, but it could have saved the game and not even knew I saved the game. But I don't do enough of that. I don't look at the field and go, even though I've got them all nice and set now on Digital Diamond and I can see right away who's gold, who's what. I don't do that enough and wish I did.
Yeah, it cost me last June at PlayCon. I was playing in Kurt Berglund's tournament where he's using his 50 great.
Love that set.
Love this set. Well, John Wise took the Red Sox, so I didn't have any other choice.
John.
Yeah, good old John. And I took, as a Red Sox fan, I took the evil umpire, the Yankees.
Oh, no. How could you do that? I would think you would go after like the Cardinals or something before you would touch the Yankees.
No, because Brad had the Cardinals, and I think I smacked Brad pretty badly with the Yankees, if I remember right.
Oh, Brad, so
And
bad.
that was the first time I had met Brad, and I ended up going all the way to the finals against Bruce Berkowitz. He had the Houston Astros,
Oh, what year was
and
this? Oh, it's the 50 grades from
yeah, yeah, yeah,
75 to 2025.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and I made that mistake in the ninth inning, a 12-1. Brad goes, he
No,
remembers the score.
not that he remembers anything from it.
Sorry about that, Brad. um, so I'm playing Bruce. He's got the Astros. I'm up 2 runs going to the ninth inning. I've got Gossage and I've got Mariano in the bullpen. I've got this game in the bag.
Oh, jeez.
Didn't make any defensive replacements. It really wasn't looking at that.
Yep. Had you been looking, would you have?
I probably would have.
Okay.
Probably
I think I would too. I look back on that.
But the one guy,
the
one guy that I really didn't think was Jeter.
Jeter's bad, isn't he? In that, isn't he like a?
Yeah, he was. I think semi-iron.
I think he's semi-iron. Yeah, which I don't expect. I think Parker's something wild like that, or a bad arm or something. Sometimes I look and go, "What the heck?"
Yeah.
You know, where did you get your stats from? But I'm sure it's right. But you know,
it's well, you know,
I don't know if Jeter is. I don't know if Jeter on a 50-year span is a.
I don't know, but you know, us Red Sox fans are always saying he was overrated as a shortstop, anyways. You know, but that's whatever.
That's not here. That's for another show, Mike.
Yeah, right. So of course it comes up and he makes an error, and I was a runner on. Then there's a base hit. And then another base hit with the bases loaded. It's got 2 outs. I think I bring in Rivera. Took Gossage out, bring in Rivera. The ball's hit to right field. And guess who's in right field? Mr. October. Yeah, Mr. October, who is a terrible. He had a great arm. Come up with an error, and I lose the game 5-4.
Should have Paul O'Neill out there.
Well, that was the thing that team was so loaded. You had to leave guys off your starting 9. You know, it was like
had you took out Jackson and you still like gave up a 2-run homer or something, went to extra innings, you needed Jackson the next inning in the batting order. You guaranteed.
Yeah. So that was a situation where I didn't make defensive replacements.
And wish you had.
Wish I had, but it was fun. I remember Kurt Berkelund walking by and just kind of shaking his head, and I'm like, "Yeah, I know. You call yourself a baseball gamer?"
But that I've said that before. If I have one major criticism of myself playing games, it's that I go too fast and that I miss those opportunities like that, because it's not that I'm going too fast to try and get the game done. I'm just in this, once I know a game, I get in a groove. And next thing you know, I'm in the 9th inning and I'm not paying attention to, you need a break right here and make sure this team's up 3-2, 4-2. You might want to look at some defensive replacements. You got an all iron outfield out there. Maybe who cares what their batting ratings are now? I need a couple of guys out there that are not just not iron.
Or they're stoic or something.
Or they're stoic. That's another thing I miss.
And you're going to get outfield drama when that stuff. And
or I need to replace my catcher, because he's not gold, and he might make a big pass ball, which has happened in games that I've and it's time to get the other catcher in there. And I've done that in like Status Pro where I didn't pay attention. I had a TC catcher in there in the 9th inning. I'm like, oh my God, their team's going to run wild, and not that, again, you have to worry about that here. We don't have to worry about the catcher's arm rating in this game, but in other games, you got to pay attention to the catcher and what his rating is. And those are things I just miss because I'll get engulfed in the story of the game or what's going on, or let's get the closer in. It's the 9th, get the music on, Here comes my closer out of the bullpen, but I am not thinking defensive replacement, get the best catcher and get the best defenders. I I don't think that, and I
Yeah.
wish I did, but it is what it is, and
Yeah.
we all keep going. Anything else on the leap before I jump into what's going on in my '80s legacy?
Um.
You want to share with us?
No.
Oh, I got something before you do that.
Yeah.
How
Go
does
ahead.
how does how does anybody join? Assuming they have the leap set,
If you.
if
Okay.
not,
I've got it
they
written
can't.
down
I'm
right here.
assuming.
On Facebook, it's called History Maker Baseball 2040 Leap Set Project.
And you are accepting people, right? As long as they have the set.
Yeah, as long as they have the set, I'll let you know which teams are taking. The Cardinals, Cleveland Spiders, Angels, Braves, Brewers, Cubs, and Red Sox are all taken.
Who has the Angels?
John Wise.
John's got the Angels.
He took,
Interesting.
yeah,
Any reason why he took that? Do you know? Or John Post, if you're here, why'd you
I
take that? I'm interested because I'm on this whole West Coast thing right now. Of we don't have enough West Coast people,
yeah,
and in us, and somebody goes and grabs a West Coast team. Besides the Dodgers, right?
yeah, yeah,
That piques my ears up.
yeah. I don't
Right?
know, and unfortunately, they're 9-18. They're tied with Seattle for
So
last
you're saying
place.
John's not doing a good job?
No, you know what? This is, I'm looking at it. His run differential is only -11, and he's
Oh,
nine
he's
and
losing
18.
close games.
He's losing close games. Yeah,
Bad
he's
bullpen.
no, it's not bad. He lost his number one starter, is starting pitcher for I think 6 or 7 starts. I think he's coming back soon. In the next
Mm.
block or two, he'll be back. So he did lose a starting pitcher, and we play injuries.
I was just going to say that. That's something different you do.
I do track that. Well, it's tracked in Green Fox. Green Fox has the ability to track injuries.
How do injuries work in HM? Because I am generally an absolute, play as played guy, but obviously there is no as played as fiction. I ignore them even in fiction. So
Right.
how does it work in play? I don't even know.
The sunny, stormy chart.
Okay.
When you're rolling for before a game, if the black dice comes up 6, then that goes to the injury chart, and then you look underneath there to see what that injury is going to be.
Okay.
You'll roll a dice, and then it'll tell you, okay, starting pitcher is injured today, or what. There's different scenarios, and then there's another chart down below that where you have to find out how many games he's going to be out.
Okay.
And in some situations, it's 2 dice equals the number of games out. So if you roll a 4 and a 6, he's out 10 games.
Okay.
Another one is 2 dice multiplied by 2. So it could be, let's say it's 4 times, you roll double 4s.
Okay.
The formula for that is 4 times 4 is 16. And then multiply it by 2, he's out for 32 games. When you get further down into the chart, you don't want to be there.
All right.
That's when you're going to lose guys really
for a long period.
For a long time,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a game. That's it.
Right.
And other times it's, I think
30,
the biggest
30 days. Is it days or games?
Games.
Okay.
So, and we don't really have a calendar. It's just you're playing every game. So,
okay.
But Green Fox takes care of that. The injury
Nice.
comes up, I put that in, and it tracks that and tells you. And I update the league, who's coming off the injury list, who isn't. The only thing I can't put into Green Fox and I have to track separately, there may be a way to do it. There is, when you're rolling on the TFNs till further notice, there are injuries in those TFNs.
Oh, okay.
So you're injured until further notice. But to put that in Green Fox, you really can't put indefinite. You have to put the number of games you're going to be out, and then it starts counting from whatever day. Like today, my guy's out 28 days or 28 games. It's going to count out. You can't put in. There's no way to put in indefinitely.
So what does that indefinitely normally go to? I mean, is it anywhere from today to 100 games, or is there a?
Well, it's because it falls into the TFNs.
Yeah.
Each team is allowed 2 TFNs, and that's the way they do it in the Baseball America Co-op. So I have a chart that I keep track of all the TFNs. the owners that playing teams, they'll let me know their pregame role. If you're Sunny, and then it's 4 or 5 different numbers at the top, trainer, media, things like that. That's where you get your TFNs on
Hmm.
those charts, and I keep track of them and the date. So obviously, you know, if a team's got 2 TFNs and one of them is let's say you got yesterday a TFN where a player's out indefinitely, then he rolls a game today, and you could end up losing that TFN fairly quickly. Um,
Okay.
it
You
all
can't
depends.
just you
It's
can't just throw them
based.
on a 10-day IL or something. That's not going to
No,
work.
no,
No.
no.
Okay.
So I have to track that separately. Luckily, we
Okay.
haven't had too many of those right now. We have an interesting one with the Dodgers, and I've never seen this before playing any of my games. You know how we have the batters have delta ratings,
Hmm.
like triangle or a sigma.
Yeah.
If they have that on their card, they may take a single and turns into a double or a triple
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
We had one come up for the Dodgers I think it's the Dodgers, yeah. A batter delta rating, should he hit that delta rating, he'll be injured until further notice.
Whoa. They have one in the Baseball America that's hit by pitch.
Okay.
Which is the first time I've ever seen that.
Yeah.
Generally, it's just what you said. It's usually turning a double into a single, or a single
Triple
into
to
a
a home
double,
or yeah,
or
yeah,
home. Yeah, I've never
yeah.
seen hit by pitch. I have never seen injury either. That's crazy.
Yeah, because I forgot who it was. Sent me a message. How do we handle this? And I'm like, I had to go to the chart and look it up. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
this is how we'll handle it. We'll just you know, it's a delta uh, signal, and if it gets triggered, then it's going to trigger him being injured. So
Wow.
um, I don't think there'd be a home run hitter. Hopefully not. Maybe it's just a singles or doubles hitter or something
Yeah.
like that. But
Yeah.
but
That's
that
pretty
could that,
interesting.
that that could be devastating. Really,
Yeah.
it
Absolutely.
depending on the hitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Cool.
And I think that's
Yeah.
pretty much it as we
Okay.
continue.
Yes, we
Uh,
we talked about getting guys into the league if they've got the game,
yep.
and of course, I'll just say this because I've heard a lot of people say this. I've never done this myself, but if you're really, really interested in getting into this project with Mike, that supposedly, if you email Keith and ask him very nicely, you might be able to get your hands on the set.
Yep.
So I would say that if you don't have the set and you're like, this sounds really cool, you can. I mean, the least he says is nothing,
Right.
or says no, but maybe he says yes. Next thing you know, you got the 2040 Leap set in your box. So I would say that if you're interested, don't give up just because you don't have it.
Right.
Shoot off a message to Keith. Tell him you're interested in getting in this co-op and you'd like to get the set.
Right.
I'm putting pressure on you, Keith, if you're listening. But yeah, do you agree that's what I've heard, that
Yep.
he will, at times it's going to all depend on product that he has available, blah, 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 blah,
Right.
blah.
Right.
But it's worth a shot to
Right.
give that a shot. So,
And if you are going to IndyCon or you're going to Digital to Dice and you want to sit down and play, we'll do it.
absolutely.
It'll be fun playing head to head. Maybe your team
Yeah.
is available and you can sit and play a series that weekend.
No
So,
doubt. Yeah, just even that, because yes,
Yep.
you're right. I will offer up my cards to anybody if they just want to sit by the window and play a series. They can grab my 2 teams, and if you make it okay for them to play a series, they grab Toronto and whatever, Detroit, and you're like, yeah, I would offer up my teams. I'm going to bring all of mine with me. So,
Cool.
that way, maybe you can get some traction with people getting excited about this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of good stuff going on there.
Yeah, and it'll eliminate me playing 2,000 games
Yes.
that I will have to play. I'm probably still, this is all said and done, wouldn't surprise me if I hit 1,500 games in this.
I wouldn't either.
Wouldn't surprise me, and it's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I will finish this as long as the good Lord keeps me here.
Yeah.
I am going to finish this. I know once we get into the dog days of August, which
Oh,
we won't be in the end of the season in this league, but we get to 60, 70, 80 games, and some of these teams are going to be like the matchups are going to be playing two teams that are won 30 games and lost 50. You know
yeah,
how excited, but I don't really have a problem with that because the history maker baseball is you just don't know
you
the
don't.
way that the way the game plays. So yeah, they may not be going anywhere, but you may end up with three great games. You may end up with a no hitter.
Yep.
So those are the kind of things you look forward to.
You just
Maybe
never know.
right,
When I played out 77 and 86, the 2 full seasons I've done, every single game, every single team, when I got to those games in those days of July and August,
hmm
and I got a couple of like Toronto against Chicago. No, Chicago White Sox were actually decent. I'm trying to think of Minnesota. Um, those are tough games to play. But at the same point, I had developed such good stories like of individual players that was fun. Yeah, I try not. I mean, if the pitcher story develops, the pitcher story develops, but they only throw once every 4 or 5 days if they're a starter. But if you can get a story developing over a hitter, that's where it really becomes fun. I think I had something going on with Jesse Barfield. I know what it was. He was chasing. Despite them being out of it, he was chasing Lance Parrish for the home run title, and so that was fun.
hmm
And so you just got to have something that makes those games exciting. But it is just regardless, it's just fun to every time
yeah,
you finish a game, it's another notch and it's another notch, and you're moving that needle and you're moving that needle. And at some point when you hit about that all-star break, that's when it really for me, it starts to really become fun because now you're looking at, like when I was using ball stat and ball score, I usually don't come up with that name. Every time I'm on air, I forget the name of that damn software. I love that software. But I would look up and I'd see 200 at bats, and it's just one guy, and I'm like,
mm,
damn, man, okay, now I've got Brett Butler here, 200 at
yeah,
bats. So I don't know, there was something about that just started to feel like it was so much more realistic because
yeah,
it wasn't 12 at bats, it wasn't 15 or 20, it was 200 plus at bats, and of course, when I started getting into 300 and 400, it was like, wow, and the pitchers over 100 innings each. There's something about that just became. And this guy's going for his 10th win. He might be 10 and 14, but he's going for his 10th win or 9 and
yeah,
14.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
There's something about all that really, or they got a guy in the pen who's, after the fireman, award, which you used to call that. They don't call it that
yeah,
anymore, but you used to call it the
yeah.
fireman award
Yeah,
because Raleigh Fingers used to win it all the freaking time. My favorite pitcher.
yep,
But anyway, yeah. So, okay. Well, you know what? If you want to get involved with Mike and this stuff especially if you're coming out to IndyCon, come out and see him and he'll get you indoctrinated and just show you a game. Play one in
yep,
front of you so you can see the
yep,
players and see what leap means, see how that leap works. I think you're going to find something you've never seen before in baseball. And that's hard to freaking say.
yeah,
You know, we've got umpires introduced in History Maker Baseball. If you're not familiar with that, that's another added one because I was just talking about how a guy who should have struck out 2 in a row walked 2 in a row thanks to the umpire, not because of him, but because of the umpire, they
yeah,
lost the game.
yep,
So
yep,
it was for New England too, I think. They're the team that
yep,
lost the game.
yep,
But anyway, so I just think all that is what you would hear really happen in a game.
yep,
This guy who's a great strikeout pitcher just misses the corner a couple of times. He's pissed off, as we can all imagine, out on that mound, but he just walked 2 guys in. They just lost the game. I
yep.
just think that's amazing. That's
It
happened in
is.
the first week of the game. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
just imagine this game has those little qualities, and I'm talking about History Maker Baseball, has those little qualities to keep you around
hmm
because it's not the same cards. And the cards themselves, although they're small, they are colorful depending on the sets you get. You can get bigger cards. They have some sets that are much bigger.
yeah.
Um,
It
and,
is a
and
good game.
and I just think there's a booklet, but I think that booklet becomes, for me at least, most of it is already here in the brain. I know
hmm
most of it. But I just think it does a great job of, I can feel the intensity of the infield play when that comes up. I can feel the intensity of 2 guys chasing down a fly ball in the outfield. I can feel the intensity of a bad pitch that the catcher is about to try and stop. There's something about that spot when you hit those that makes you feel the game. And I really like that compared to, again, anything else that's on the market. It just, he's found a way to do that.
It keeps you going. It's like looking ahead and seeing that I'm playing the Pirates next. Mixed
Oh,
emotions, because
yes.
I've been playing a lot of the Pirate games, and they're 24-3, but they're 11 games ahead of me in the division. I'm 13-14 with the Red Sox, and I'm like, I'd like to break that winning streak, but I'd also like to see it keep going, because I don't remember what the major league record is, but we got to be
Yeah.
getting pretty close to. I think
I
it's
think
20,
it's like 21, 22.
22, somewhere
Yeah.
around
I
there.
want to say that too. Yeah.
Yeah, but just to let people out there know, the North Division leaders are the Pirates at 24-3. Brad's got his Cardinals at 17-10 on top of the Central. Um, if Cleveland should sweep their series, they would move ahead of them for first place. In the South, Miami 17-10, and in the West, Las Vegas 19-8, followed by the Dodgers and Rockies at 17-10. So
Ooh,
some
that's a
interest.
good division.
That is a very good division. Arizona is 15-12. So
With Paul Skeens.
With Paul Skeens, yeah, I don't have his stats. His numbers are good, but his one loss, they don't support him.
Oh, okay.
I remember. Yeah, they haven't supported him, or he's had a bunch of no decisions too.
Yeah.
Funny with the North, with Pittsburgh and the Yankees kind of running away with it. We've got 3 teams at 13-14, a team at 12-15, and 2 at 11-16. So we have 5 teams separated by, or actually six teams separated by 2 games for that third wild card spot. So there's a story developing there. These teams are down there. Yeah, their records aren't showing it, but they're in the battle right now for that third spot. I mean,
you won't be wild as if anybody makes a leap in the leap set, right?
Yeah.
But if Arizona makes that leap, because right now they're kind of an afterthought for what you're saying, because you got the 3 teams ahead of them. What happens? They get hot. What if Skeens wins, his next 10 starts and they leap ahead of them? I mean, there's just some really cool stuff the stories there are, what if Pittsburgh, and it is a bit crazy, but what if Pittsburgh doesn't even make the playoffs after all this? We're going to look back at the show and go, you thought they were running away with everything. And what happens if they go on a 10-game losing streak? I mean, who knows? That's what's great about playing, whether you're in History Maker Baseball or whether you're in any other game. That's what's fun about playing full play. When you talk about, a lot of people only do one team, they do their series, their Boston team, and they play their team. And what you miss out on are these fun runs that can happen out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden get ingrained with you. Seattle wins 10. You're talking about Pittsburgh. You've never probably talked about Pittsburgh in your life. And Seattle might go on a 10-game winning streak. Next time you're on the show, you may be talking about how Seattle went out eight crap. You just never know with this stuff. And now Pittsburgh is like leap loyalty. You know what I mean? And it's cool, and it's just going to be fun to see how that plays out. But
it really is.
Let me jump in kind of a little bit of what I'm doing, and then I want to jump into a discussion around hybrid. But so anybody who's been on my box score page knows that I've been a couple of different things in this 1980s tournament, which I think is so much fun. What I did is I literally looked over to my closet and said, I got every freaking baseball game known to a CDer. And Mike and I talked about it. What was that on Saturday, Mike? Where just talked about all my games. It's absolutely insane what I have. And I was like, man, how am I ever going to get all that out of there? And then I started thinking, what if I just did an 80s tournament where I literally took every single team, 1980 through 1989, worked with chat to basically put together this tournament. But I didn't want to put a tournament together where the best team in the 80s played the worst team in the 1980s. That was going to be a blowout. Or even if it isn't, that isn't going to be any fun if they beat them even. So what I decided to do was tier it. And so I sat down with chat and we came up with what we thought winning percentage wise would make sense to put each of these teams in tiers. So kind of almost like a European football look to it. So we had tier 4, we had tier 3, tier 2, and then tier 1 is called the Premier, and just the whole European idea. So tier 4 was a one and none. Just you played one game against. So I think there were 32 teams. I can't remember the amount, but there were 32 teams or 48 teams, and these are the worst of the worst throughout the 1980s. You got one shot to make it to tier 3, to get promoted to tier 3. So it was promoting 16 teams. That's right. So it was, that's what it was. I had a playoff right at the end. So what it ended up being 36 teams, which gave me 18. But to do the math right, I could only promote 16. So I had a playoff at the end for the worst 2 teams. So if you were the worst of the worst, you had to win 2 games out of that division just to get into the next thing. And the Tigers did, which was hilarious. And I think it was 89 Tigers. I was talking to Tom about it. Tom Abbott saying, yeah, your boy is Jack Morris, just basically carrying him to the next division. So, but it was fun to see those guys get promoted to the next division. And then there's 3 game series. And again, it's win your 2 out of 3, or you're going home. But even if you win 2 out of your 3, only 12 are getting promoted. So you may win 2 out of 3. Now, if you're number 1 seed, 2 seed, I think the top 10 seeds automatically go if they win. They go into the next tier. But like the bottom ones, we're all going to have to win another 3-game set to get themselves. So to move up in the tier, if you're crappy, the way I tried to make this was you're going to have to win some games. And if you did, great, you're in the next tier. That's exciting. Cinderella, get the shoe. Detroit's trying right now. So that's been fun playing that, because I will play History Maker Baseball with one. I will play Status Pro with another, Status Pro Advanced. I will play Payoff Pitch, which I got Joe sent me. I have every season he has for the 80s. But the last 2 I'm missing, he said he's going to take care of me soon. So what I do is I basically bring up the spreadsheet that tells me what games do I have and what seasons do I have. And if I know I'm playing the 86 Pirates against the 82 Cardinals, I can basically filter my spreadsheets to get those 2 teams and see what my changes are. I might have inside pitch going for that game. So it's fun because I'm not looking to, and I don't do this anymore anyway, and I don't think you do either, Mike, but I'm not looking to validate anybody's game engine. I think they're all fantastic. They all do their own things. And we talked about the low things that History Maker Baseball might have. We could talk about the low things that Trap may have, blah, blah, blah. Those days are gone for me. I'm not here trying to validate your engine. I'm here trying to have fun. So I'm playing whatever games, especially when it's something like this. I play the whole 3-game set with the same ones because I just don't literally, why would I want to take another game, go through all the cards, get the lineups? No. So, if I've got Payoff Pitch on my table, I stay that 3-game series with Payoff Pitch. But that's been fun because I am just constantly pulling out different games on there, and I'm using everything I have. Basically, the whole arsenal is thrown in, and so it's a lot of fun. And to the point where I was just thinking the other day, I'm like, man, for real players, this may be where I go from now on. Rather than trying to play a season, this is so much fun. I'm like, when I finish this, I might do a 90s. Then I might do a 2000s. Because we all talk, there's a lot of talk about us old guys, Mike. We don't play enough of the newer seasons. And how do we expect to get new people in if we're always playing 1975? So I think the fictional is going to help people come in, younger people come in. But they're right. If we're always playing 1975, they don't want to hear from us. That to us is like us hearing about 1945 all the time. We don't want to hear that. Maybe we do. But anyway, the whole point being is that maybe that'll let me play some newer seasons and even go back to older ones, go back to 70 and go back to the 60s. But anyway, right now, that format's working for me because I'm getting every game on the table. And I'm getting to play all these teams and all these players. Nobody's out. And it's just fun. It's just a lot of fun. Setting the line. And I don't have to worry about the as-played lineups. I can set my lineups the way I like them. And I know baseball pretty much, especially from the 70s and 80s, I can grab a card set and go, this is the starting lineup they would have used. But they always made a mistake here. Von Hayes should really be in the 3rd spot, not 5. So I, make my own little things, but it's so much fun because it's just I'm not playing against anything. Don't care if Brad Crew has 2 home runs or not in the first 2 games. None of that stuff matters. It's just playing that tournament, and it's just a ton of fun. So, and watching these guys get promoted, I always thought that maybe something baseball should look at since it kind of sucks right now. let's put the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Red Sox and other high dollar teams in the Premier League, and let's put
Mm-hmm.
these other guys in the other league and let them get promoted into the other league, and then they should have to spend X number of dollars, or those owners can keep their asses in Division Two. Anyway, I digress. So that's that. The other game that I started to mess with is, and I got it right here on the old desktop right now. I got Vancouver out playing Nashville. Playing with the Baseball America, my first jump into the 2026 set, or into this set. And it's been interesting to say the least. I can say that because I put all the teams, there's 12 teams, I put them all in Digital Diamond, all the players in, I put all their defensive ratings in. And so I've kind of looked at everybody, and I've sat down, and with this set, they give you free agents and they only give you 24 players. So I drafted one player per team. And I went with, it's not here, it's somewhere else. Anyway, Keith, when he sends you the set, gives you the predicted percentages of the teams, first to last, on that sheet.
Yes.
And so that was my draft order. That's from the bottom up. So I think it was, Chicago? I don't know. Vancouver, somebody had the worst record. So they had first pick. And so they added a really good pitcher. So I did a draft. I did just 12 players, and I got extras for injuries and so on. So I did that. And now I just started playing my first games. And but what I've absolutely noticed practically with every team is there are 8 to 9 definite starters on every team in the field. And the rest of the players are basically bench material. And there were no decisions when I looked. You're the first baseman, you're the second, you're short, you're third. 162 games if I can get you, because they don't have a bench. None of the teams have a bench. They have 4 men on the bench unless I happen to add a free agent. Some have 3 actually. But the pitching staffs, oh my Lord, everybody's got 3 starters with star, ace, and double flash. It seems like the first 3 starters and so my scores have been all 2-1, 1-0. I had 2 no-hitters taken into the 8th inning already out of the first 6 games. 8 innings of no hit ball. I was thinking the first game I played, the team, it's New England. They have the only that I've seen, only 2-way player on that team, and he took a no-hitter into the bottom of the 8th. And lost. Ended up losing. But it's everybody, I'm looking at him right now, it's like ace, star, double flash. And it's like the first 3 starters on every team are like that. Then we're jumping into starter 4 and 5 are all workman and slugger.
Mm-hmm.
Not slugger, but workman and what's the other word? Anyway. What's that?
You have struggler.
Struggler. Yeah, struggler. But the first 3 starters on every single team are amazing. And of course, if I drafted a pitcher out of that free agent pool who's any good, then they only had like 1 or 2. So they've got 4 great starters. So it's going to be interesting to see where all that leads, if I play this long enough. But I'm absolutely seeing that. And some guy in the first, everybody's playing 3-game sets. Though. It's like an opening weekend that I set. One guy hit 2 home runs in a game. Another one hit 3 in the whole series. He hit 1 in each game. And it's been wild that because I noticed stuff like this. 3 home runs were hit with no slugger or home run king quality.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of unusual, which is great.
Yeah.
But it's unusual. And one was to win the game. It was a walk-off. He was a utility. He wasn't a scrapper, but it was like a utility player, I think, or something. And it's that 1-1
or 5-5-5.
It was 5-5-5. That was it. I'm looking at it right now. The 5-5-5. Yeah.
5-5-5.
The pitcher wasn't an ace or a star. The batter wasn't a scrapper. It's going
5-5-5. Yeah.
And that was to win the game.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so cool. Have you played San Antonio?
Not yet. Nope. They're one that haven't gotten on the table yet.
That's my team in Grand.
That's your team.
Yeah. Two-time defending champ right now.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to get San Antonio on here.
Well, Keith took care of my best starter when I lost Pimentel. I lost him to I don't know who, but I lost him as a free agent. And I traded quote unquote, this is Keith doing all these behind the stuff.
I know. I watch it. He says it so like matter of factly.
It's probably one of the most watched shows because if you're in baseball America, you're like, okay, how is he going to screw me, or how is he going to? And he has no idea who has what for teams.
What team? Yeah. No.
And he traded my best closer to Steve Towers.
Oh,
for 2 starting pitchers. Now, I was supposed to get the set today. We haven't had mail delivery Monday or Tuesday with 32 inches of lovely white stuff out there.
yeah.
So I'm interested to see the set. As I had those envelopes courtesy of you. I went out and ordered those, and that's what I use for my baseball league.
San Antonio Six Guns.
There they are. Yep. So I don't know.
Lock them open.
Pitching, and I think I got some hitters. I think he said.
Oh yeah, well, Jude Brannon.
I got him back. I lost him last year. He was on my team 2 years ago, and then he's
a whiffer, but he's a hero and a slugger. So you got a lot of hero sluggers. Dave Temme, Temme.
He's a new guy. Then I didn't have him last.
Yeah,
year.
He's a prospect. He's a hero and a slugger. Oh, he's got the hit by pitch on the triangle.
Oh, does he really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. No. Time out. Yep. I drafted him to San Antonio. He's a draft.
Oh, he's a draft. See, we have our draft, I think, this weekend.
Oh, okay.
And I have the last pick and then the first pick in the second round because I won the championship.
Well, I drafted him thinking you needed an outfit. Well, at the spot you came up, San Antonio came up. I ended up picking him. So, and then we got Manny Facero.
Manny Facero, he was good last year for me. Yep.
You got a home run king out of Pat Mattis.
That's another new player.
It says he's not icon and he's not prospect.
Okay.
He's nothing.
Neutral.
But he bats right-handed third baseman. Okay. Hero and a home run king, but he's also a whiffer. You got a lot of whiffers.
Yeah, well, I had him last year too. My team is could be home runs or strikeouts.
Devin Jean Baptiste. I love that name.
Yeah, it's another new guy.
Baptiste. Again, nothing on there. But he's he's not very good. Sorry. He's a catcher, scrapper, whiffer, eater.
Okay.
Then you got Foster Lieberger.
Lieberger I had last year. Yeah.
He's not very good.
No.
I'm going to skip some of these.
Ricky Berner is the big guy. He was my rookie shortstop last year.
He's gone.
I don't know. Ricky Berner's not on the team?
You got a Dylan Berner.
Dylan. That's what I
had. Shortstop. Yep. Hero, champion, slugger, eager. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speedster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep. You do have him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He had a great year last year.
Other guys who are, I would have said him. And then it gets into your pitching where you got.
Yeah. After losing Pimentel, it's like, I know I have Romo still, I think.
Frank Frelick looks good.
Okay. That's the guy I got from Steve Towers.
Star flash control.
Okay.
Semis on the stars. He's got control. He's a prospect. Let's see. That guy's not very good. Oh, star flash control. Zach Romine. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Boy, you got a lot of lefties.
Okay.
And DB flash guy here. Oh, Sergio Papa.
Gotta
love that name. Papa.
Yeah, Papa.
DB flash left-hander again. Yeah. Man, you got a lot of lefties. That's that's a starter. Flash and DB control, Benito Mestes.
Okay. It's another new guy.
He's a semi-flash and a DB control right-hander out of the pen. Colton Grandstaff, star control.
That's the other guy I got. That's the other pitcher I got from.
Well, you got some good pitchers, some relief, good relief there. You got a struggler DB flash. So it's like, put him in, don't put him in. Put him in, don't put him in.
Yeah.
That guy,
that's a fun co-op. It really is.
Well, the last guy that you have that's really good on here that I'll mention, really good, probably. And actually the question for this one, when you get a guy who's a pitcher, but he's not a starter, but he's not a reliever, so it means he can do both. He's just a pitcher. Okay. How do you guys handle that in the league, in the co-op league? Can he just start 32 games if he wanted to, or does he have to do something in the middle?
I don't think there's he can use them as either or. I mean, we have to put our rotations in. So it's
he
like
could be your number one pitcher if you wanted.
If you wanted to put them in there, yeah, but you have to put your rotations in each month. So,
Yeah.
and then in the co-op you play 8 games in a month.
Okay.
So, and we play, I think, 46 or 48 games. It's a short season, but you play 8 games in a month. You play actually four. You play 4 home games and 4 away games. Okay. Yeah.
Is that a new guy for you, or have you
Yeah,
had
it
him
is.
before?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a feeling he's going to do pretty well for you with that
Yeah.
star, flash, and DB control. That's a guy who's going to eat up innings and
Yeah.
with the star and the flash do quite well. But he's just a pitcher. But again, just a pitcher. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to field though. But he's a semi prospect. But I mean, I think in that rotation, he's going to be in your rotation. I'd be
Oh
shocked
yeah,
if he wasn't.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Looks like you still got a competitive team there. I'll let you know
Yeah.
how your first weekend series goes in my little
Yeah.
tournament,
You'll have
my
to do
little
that.
thing.
Yeah.
See how that goes. But again, what I saw on every single team as I was inputting each one into Digital Diamond was great pitching, like top notch starting staff, and nobody didn't have one.
Hmm.
And then amazing bullpens, 3 to 4 guys, sometimes even deeper than that. And when I say, for me, when I look at the cards,
Hmm.
if you've got star, you've got ace, and you've got flash in some capacity, then you're going to see the field a lot. And if you're a struggler and you're a workman, not as much.
Hmm.
And so that's where I cut the line as to that's got good pitching and this doesn't. And I see 2 or 3 bad pitchers on every staff.
Yeah.
But what I see is an equal across the board. And I have yet to really come across any offensive team outside of Charlotte looked really good. Whoever has Charlotte.
I think Chicago's got some hitters.
Do they have some hitters?
Brawlers,
I haven't done
yeah.
Chicago yet.
Okay, James. Yeah, that's James Hart's team.
Yeah.
And,
But Charlotte dumped New England, who had on Keith's sheet was the number 1 team.
Charlotte.
And based on what he thought percent, however he decided that. But Charlotte lost the first game to them and literally crushed their 9-1 and 13-5 or something. And that 13-5 game was more like 13-1 most of the game. That, from what I've seen so far, 3 games is not a season. But they embarrassed New England, in my opinion.
That was a team that was been down the last 3 years.
Charlotte. Well, whoever's got Charlotte in your league, I'll be shocked if you're not extremely competitive.
Well, poor guy that had him, he left this year.
That's the team that got left that I might have got if I'd have opened up quicker. Oh no, because that's a good team.
I think it's somebody from Canada. I think it might be Jeff Tomlinson has him. And the other team that we lost the owner last year toward the end of the season, the New York Skyliners were another team that were terrible. Yeah. And apparently this year they're a much, much better team. And
I think I played them.
And Paul Fay has him, so he's coming in at the right. He's coming in at the right time with a much better team than they've been in the last couple of years.
Okay, yeah, I think I might have played them, but because I want to say I did, but maybe I'm looking through real quick. Yes, I did. Oh okay. No, I got that all wrong. I have to back up. It was Charlotte who beat up on New York on the Skyliners. That's who they beat up on. They took 2 or 3 from. They lost the first game 5-3. Then they won 13-5. Charlotte over New York, and then they. What was the second game here? Let me pull it up real quick because I didn't put the actual score. 6-1, and it was not close. And so, so that was New York that got bounced like that. St. Louis played New England. St. Louis beat that. I knew New England lost because it hit me that they were the number 1 ranked team out of this set, according to Keith.
Oh, wow.
And they lost 9-6 to St. Louis. And then they lost. This is the near no crazy game, Mike. So went into the 8th inning, Easton Marsh. I don't know if you know that name from playing.
No, that's a new name. Yeah,
okay, Easton Marsh heads into the 8th inning, 12 strikeouts and a no-hitter against the best team in the league, right? Supposedly. he decides to fall apart in the 8th inning and give up 2 runs, ends up losing the lead. And Jackie Fly from New
Jackie
England,
Fly, yep.
Jackie Fly ends up taking a shutout into the 9th. Now it switches from the guy who has the no. It was 0-0. So they get into the 9th inning. One gives up his no hitter and is down 2-0. And so now Jackie's the guy. He's got the shutout and like a 3-hitter. Boom, gives up a home run. He did hold on. His closer came in, so they ended up winning that game. But it was like nothing happened till the 9th inning between those two. But I said, A Star Is Born. Easton Marsh looks amazing for St. Louis.
Yep.
So they lost that game, but should have really, based on his pitching performance, should have been up 2-0. And then in game 3, they're the ones who ran. They ran New England out of town 9-2. So St. Louis, in my opinion, is a team to watch out for. It's one game, right? Or it's one series, but I mean, they offensively hit a very good New England pitching quality team. And look pretty good. So that was fun. So I'm messing around, having fun with this. I definitely got to get into your league. I want to play around with this a little more, and then I want to get into the Leap, and definitely want to do some work on that at the show. Last subject I want to talk about was what's hot this week.
But one thing, I thought we were just going to quickly go through XHL.
Oh, you're right.
You're in our co-op. You're in our co-op, and I played you the other night.
Yes, you did. So go ahead, give your little update on what you think's going on with the XHL, and I'll talk a little bit from my end.
Well, John and I are in the same division. We're chasing Quebec.
You guys have been chasing me all year.
Yeah,
until last month.
Yeah. And going into our game the other night, you had a 5-point lead on me. You're in second. I'm in third. I think we're both going to make the playoffs. I think, but I was trying to beat you, because, if the playoffs end today, we're going to play each other in the first round. And you'll have home ice advantage. So,
doesn't seem to matter lately for me, but yes.
and I should have known again because the damn dice.
Yeah.
But I actually won the shootout. Reinhardt.
We never loses.
Never loses. Rolled the 6 up with him.
Oh.
He's a 4.
Yep.
And I have Kapanen, who was my first guy, and he's a 3, and I rolled a 2. So I got it. So I win the shootout, and I'm like, this is good. This is what I need. And I ended up winning. Yeah, I did win the game, but it was a 2-2 game, and I only picked up 1 point on you, so I'm still 4 points behind. I needed that 3 point.
You did.
And I've got Quebec next, so I got to play. Yes.
Oh man, is that at home?
Yeah, I have 5 home games this month.
And I had 2.
Well, you know what happened? Back in the second month of this, I had 5 away games. And I said, well, I hope he makes this up somewhere. And then I got to this. So I've got 4 games to play before the end of the week, I think, because our season ends. So luckily nothing going on with the Leap, so I'll be able to get those games in. I've done okay against Quebec. Reinhardt has killed me with you. Reinhardt, he got the tying goal. I was up 2-1 going into the third period, and you have that. You go to we both do it. Not a lot of guys do it, but we do the line change, go back to our original line change, start a third. And sure enough, Reinhardt
there it is, standing at you.
2 minutes into the third period, boom. And I actually had a shot at the end of the game to score a goal, and your goalie had to make a spectacular save, and he did.
Garish.
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 And that was it. The game ended 2-2, and I got the extra point because of the shootout win, but not the result that I was looking for. But that's
been a
fun.
Great season.
It really has. Yeah.
Yet again, another Keith-led game, which, by the way, if anybody doesn't know, Keith's in our league. Absolutely. He's going to have number. If he does, which I'm going to bug the hell out of him, if he does XHL 2.0 next year, he'll have first pick because he has the worst team in our league. British Columbia is his team. However, just a quick story. I played them in this last block, and I was thinking, all right, I got an easy win. I'm playing Keith, right? And I get up 5-0. No problem. I'm crushing him, right? Third period comes, 2-point goal. Next thing you know, it's 5-4. Because he's got what's his name from Colorado? McKinnon's hitting. He hit a 2-point, actually hit a 2-point goal like at the end of the second period, and then flipping the cards for the third period, because I think Keith does it too. He's staring right back at me, and he's down 3 goals in the second period, so that's a 2-point shot. I got a penalty. He goes 2-point, boom. It's 5-4 before I knew what happened. I'm like, am I really going to blow a game against British Columbia at home? Because I've got it feels like I got like a 500 record at home, it seems like. And I had just come off a 5 of my 6, I think we play 6 games in a month, it seems like, maybe 7.
8, 8. I think we play 8.
Is it 8? Okay. I had a 5-game away losing. I didn't win 1 game on the road. And what is this, our March? No, this is our February. So that was January. And I lost all 5 road games, and 2 of them against subpar 500 teams. And I'm like limping to the ice here in February because I was like up by like 8 points or something.
You
first
were.
place. And I was like, okay, this is going. This Reinhardt was winning me game after game after game. I was leading the league in shootout wins. I was tying everybody, but winning all the shootouts. So I was just piling up points. And then all of a sudden, the bottom just dropped out, and I couldn't win a game on the road. And then I couldn't win a game at home. And I was like, boy, this is all coming back home. So this has been such a fun league because it's been such a roller coaster that you would normally get when you play in any kind of game. And of course, we've got some really great guys in that league. So much fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't wait for the playoffs because they're going to be – we got brothers in the league, right? I think, And
the Bartos,
which are actually in my basketball league as well. They're
Yeah.
in the History Maker Hoops, which, by the way, I started off with a loss on that on the road already.
That's
I
one
lost.
team.
No, I lost at home, and then I lost on the road with my team, New Jersey, who made it to the semis last year. This is my first year in the league with them, so I took over somebody else's team.
Yeah.
And lost on the road, or lost at home, and then I went on the road. And the guy's posting. I don't remember who it was, but he's posting. I think it was one of the Bartow brothers. He's posting halftime. I'm up by like 14. I'm like, oh, I'm finally gonna, I'm gonna get a win. I'm gonna go 1-1. I lost by 1 in the end, and I'm like, okay, here we go again. Now I'm 0-2 already in basketball. But it all these sets are just so much fun from Keith.
They are.
And they all come to life. And I've got this guy, Mac Reynolds, he's a rookie and he's just shooting the lights out. And I've got this guy, Dort, I knew nothing about him because this is my first year with the set, but he is a legend in the league because the year before he went nuts or whatever, and he signed a big free agent contract with me, but his card sucks.
Oh.
So that never happens, right? Guy signed a big contract and bomb. So Keith really did that funny. I love it. It's not that he's horrible, but he's not what these guys are saying he was. He's like barely. He is my starting center, but he's not averaging 30 points a game. For me, he's like 10 points. I think he had a double in my opener, but it was like 10 points, 11 boards. And they were talking about how he averaged 30 points a game. Anyway, that's a ton of fun with that. And so it's going back to the XHL. I can't wait for these playoffs because I think we've got so many great, interesting stories. Where's this going to go? Our division is much tougher than the other division because they already
you got your 2 top teams over there, all in the 70s for points.
Yeah,
and then after that, it's like nothing.
It just drops.
We're all
beating up on each other each week. We're at the edge going, okay, is he going to send his results? Where those guys have had asterisks next to their name for a week.
Yeah. I couldn't beat Indianapolis this year. The worst team in our division. He played me tough.
He beat me this round.
Yeah, he beat me this round 5-1. I was like, what?
Who has that team? I forget who has that
Brian
team.
Bartow.
That's why I say I think it's one of the Bartow brothers.
Yeah, and his brothers got Quebec.
Okay. All right. So that team has gone from like they were kind of laying real low, and then all of a sudden I noticed they're at the top of the division. Like, I don't even know I don't think I've played them since December. I don't
Oh
remember
wow.
playing them. I might have played them in there and missed it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've played them since December. I might have played them on the road, but I don't remember having them on my desktop. But maybe I did.
Yeah. I think I end the season with 2 games out of our division. I play Chicago, who's fighting for a playoff spot, and I think I played Keith the last game of the season.
Oh, so I'm already done. I got all my games in. So I'm done, and I'm just sitting back waiting to see what you do. Basically, do I go on the road for the playoffs, or am I going to be at home? How many games are the playoffs? What is it? What's the system?
I don't remember what he said.
Yeah, this is all new to all of us because
it's all new. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if we're playing 3-game sets or 5-game sets or 1-game set. I don't know.
I thought 5. I thought he said 5-game sets.
Best out of 5, so like 2-1. Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
2 at home and 2 on the road. And the 5th game, deciding game on the best team scored, better team record wise. Okay.
Unless he follows it, because Derek is running that league. Unless he follows, because he's also in the Baseball America, and our playoffs.
That's Derek Jones, right?
Yeah, Derek Jones. Yeah. In the Baseball America, it's best of 5, but it's 1-1-1-1. We don't play 2 or 2.
Yeah, because who worries about the travel schedule?
Yeah, you don't really.
You mean British Columbia and Miami? We really don't worry about the travel schedule.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we don't worry about.
You're right. Why am I thinking like a normal league?
Well, yeah. So
but it might be fair to have a 2-1. I don't know.
Yeah,
I would think that the 5th game should be at the better team's record home.
Yeah,
I do. But if you go 1-1-1-1-1, that's fine. But I definitely think that the potential deciding game 7, game 5, game 3, whatever it is, should be at the better record home team.
Right.
Whoever is considered the higher seed, if you will, in the playoffs.
Yep.
So hopefully they do that. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's next month, March. So look for Mike to probably return on the show. I'm making it for you. You're going to come, Mike, on the show. But we got to talk about that. We got to talk, especially if we're going against each other. We got to talk about the XHL.
Yeah,
I don't see how we're going to avoid each other. To be honest, either you're going to be home or I'm going to be home. I think we're going to hit each other in the first round.
You still have a better chance at getting first though than I do. You got a 4-point lead on me, and you're only 3 points. I think you're 3 points behind.
He's going to have to lose because I don't have any more games to win.
Well, I got him next, so I mean, I guess I could help.
So how can I catch him? I don't have any more points.
You don't have any away games?
No. Wait, I'm at 40.
Oh, we play 42, so you got 2 away.
I got 2 more games. Okay, but I'm horrible on the road, so we'll see. So I got a possibility of getting 6 points, but we'll see. I don't even know who I play. I have to look.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know I play Chicago and British Columbia.
My guess is Chicago, because Chicago's always at the end of never playing the game. So I'm going to guess if I have games left, it's probably Chicago and British Columbia. They're always the 2 that are. Although I think Keith wrote the other day that he did all his games. So I think
so. You know who hasn't played any of his games? He's still at 36, and it's 42. Sunshine State, I think.
Sunshine State.
No, California or California.
I always get those mixed up. SoCal. Sunshine and SoCal, I get mixed up.
I don't think SoCal has played any of their games this week.
Well, maybe I have a shot. If it's non-playoff teams, maybe I have a shot. But we'll see. That league, it's literally out of your hands. Once it's on the road, and I have not fared well on the road. So,
but I think mathematically, you still have a shot at first.
Sounds like I do, especially if he's got to play you and whoever else he might have to play, and especially if he's got people to play on the road. I might have mathematically, of course. So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
There's
always a chance.
I just wanted to make the playoffs. I mean, at first I thought, I'm going to win the division here. I'm comfortably in the lead, and then bottom fell out. So now just making the playoffs would be nice. But it's just been
fun.
It's just been fun, and I love pulling it out. And I put it away because I'm done, and I'm just waiting for the playoffs. But I cannot wait to grab that out of the closet and play some playoff games, because that's just going to be a blast. Yeah, that is just going to be. And I think everybody in our league is going to be so into it and wanting to know who got what. And I can't imagine who's going to, because this is the first ever. I mean, whoever gets this is major bragging rights.
That's right.
It is the first. And I I am going to bug the crap. Keith, if you're listening, I am going to bug the crap out of you. I know he has said in the past that this will be his only XHL set. You cannot make this his only XHL set.
He mentioned last night. I didn't watch it live. I watched it this morning. Vinny's show.
I haven't seen it yet, but I saw that he had him on there.
He had Keith, and it sounded like he was going to. They talked about the XHL, and it sounded very confidently that he was going to put a second set out next year.
Good, because he doesn't have like an America set like he has for basketball, like he has for baseball. This could be his America set, even though I get it. The game's different. It's not just fictitious players. It's because he, of course, and he don't know what the XHL, he threw in real players that we drafted. That's why we're sitting here talking about Reinhardt and McKinnon, because they were drafted onto our teams, which made it even more fun. My best player is Semis. Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking of Skeens and everything in my mind. Semis was the best player on Cleveland by far until I took Reinhardt. Now I got a duo, and they've really been doing great. But the draft next year is almost going to be more fun than these playoffs, because what's going to happen with the set too. What's going to happen with the free agents? Is Reinhardt still is he on my team, or is he going to pull him from the free agent list? It's going to be interesting how he
he mentioned he was going to add more free agents.
Okay. So so is he going to release the same ones? Is Reinhardt going to be a free agent? Is he still going to be on my team?
I don't know. He didn't say
how are we going to, we haven't talked about rules beyond this year.
No.
So, because we don't know what the set looks like. So we can't really make rules beyond this year.
Right.
But does he set a whole new set of free agents, and we got to draft over?
Yeah.
And you lose your free agent that you had. There's just so many little twists and turns this could take. Or do we build on what we already have? That would be really fun. Because a couple of these teams get a goalie, they're going to really jump. Because I've played a couple of teams where I'm like, I'm going to have to outscore you, but I don't think it's going to be an issue because your goalie's horrible. But that's just what happened with them. They had holes to fill, and so they did. Kind of like British Columbia. He's got. You can't forget he's got McKinnon on that team. So add a few more players. He can't be too far off in British Columbia from competing.
Right.
That's going to make it a lot of fun, and being GM of these teams and then watch them play out on your desktop against other guys' teams. I know when I've got X team on my table who it is, because I look it up. Got to look up their lineup. Got to look up who's card it is. So I know if I'm playing your team or somebody else's, or I'm playing Keith's, and it's just a lot of fun.
It is.
It just it's all done and great. It's been a league where there's been no whining.
Nope.
I'm knocking on wood, dude. Nobody's been whining. Nobody's complained about a damn thing. Everyone's just put in their stuff. And we've teased a few people about taking forever to get their games done, but that's all it's been, because nobody's missed the deadline. They've just come close to the deadline, but that's it. They'll get them in. They always do. And it's just been a professional league. That's the best way I can put that. It's been a very professional league. It's been a pleasure to be in. So I cannot wait for year 2. And I don't anticipate anybody dropping it. But you never know.
No. I mean, because they're all, and a lot of these guys are in Baseball America. And they're just a great bunch of people. They really are. We all get along in that league, get along in this, my league. I just find these co-op leagues, I'm in 3 right now, and I haven't had any problem with any of them. I enjoy them. I really do enjoy them. They're fun.
Yeah. I just, not to drag that off, but I've already seen a problem in the basketball league. We didn't even get started on the opening tip, and we had a problem. We had drama. And that's too bad. And it is. I'm not going to call anybody out on the show, but I'm just going to say there was drama before we even got begun for a tip off for the first game, and that was disappointing. But the commander. What am I in? One of those TV shows. The commissioner did a great job of basically squashing it to the point where he took charge of it and just said, "Here's what we're doing moving forward," and that's what we're doing. There's been no issue since, and I hope it continues.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
But
Yep.
that's the one thing that blows these things apart is when you do get a bit of drama. None of us want that shit. We got enough of it in our daily lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Turn on the TV and you get all you want. We don't need
Hmm.
it in our co-ops. We don't need it in here, anywhere else.
Yep.
So that's why I say I've seen good and I've seen me. And then I've also seen in a baseball project, I will call it out because I know it's been frustrating for them. There was a baseball project for 1986, I want to say, or 84. I don't know. It's one of those seasons, and it's been a roller coaster for them. And of course, doing a baseball, as you know, is a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they've transitioned between, well, this guy's commissioning. Oh, now this guy's commissioning. Now this guy's commissioning, and then nobody was kind of doing anything because they were all busy doing their own projects. And so then it really slowed down. And then all of a sudden it picked up and a bunch of people, even Dave jumped in, did a few games and then jumped right back out, and and I get that's kind of what co-ops are for in some ways. But when you get a co-op league, I think there's a difference between trying to play a season with a co-op. Tell me if I'm wrong here, and playing in. It's not even really a co-op what we do for XHL. It's
Right.
It's a play by email league almost, if you will,
Yeah.
where you own a home team and you play. That's different than come in and grab whatever games and assign them to you, and that's co-op. Where maybe we gotta start naming that, giving that a name, because it's different. It's different. You've got
It is.
obligations. That's why we get on like the Chicago guy. Sorry, I keep calling you a Chicago guy, but just you're responsible to play those 4 games. In a co-op, you're just responsible for whatever you signed up for.
Right.
So there's a little difference in those leagues.
Yeah. I played some of those games in the 84 co-op.
84, that's it. Yeah.
I played a few games.
So did
I. But you're right. Because I'd go in. Of course, I wanted to play the Red Sox, and somebody already had them. So I did play some other teams, but I was doing it really to help the guy out and get some games through. I was using his History Maker Baseball, I think, for it. No, Replay. I was using Replay Baseball because 84 hasn't been made by Play, and James Hart wants them to do that so bad because that was the year the Cubs had a good year, and I played that, but I just found myself, I was just doing it to help the guy out. I didn't have, the Red Sox, I could have played more Red Sox games. I would have been, even though they weren't very good in 84. At least it's a team I followed and I knew the players. So I think when you go into the Leap thing, it truly is a co-op because it's the unknown. It's all players you don't know. There's no expectations. We have no idea where these 32 teams are going to end up. You do a replay, you kind of know what's going to happen. There's going to be some deviations here and there, but the good teams are probably still going to be at the top by the time you play the 2,500 games that you have to play.
They're going to rise. They're going to find their way to rise.
Yeah. This here, the Leap, you have no idea. No idea what's going to happen.
No idea. And that's the fun of it all, for sure.
Yeah.
So that last subject I want to get on here, and that's the hybrid piece. So you use hybrid because you use Green Fox spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk about hybrid, for the audience is you're playing C&D and you're using some sort of electronic scorekeeping. That's hybrid. No matter how you do that, whether it's at the end of the game, whether that's during the game, that's hybrid. Hybrid is not, in this conversation, you simming out all the other teams and playing your games on your home team or your favorite team's games. That is a hybrid of playing an entire season, but that's not what we're talking about here.
Right.
The reason I'm going here is because Ron and I talked about this, and Ron's actually been talking about this a lot on a lot of shows because he was on the circuit, as they say. For a little bit.
He was. Yes, he was.
And he's really, I think I hit something on him when we were talking off camera and on camera, is that I think that's the new way for a lot of people is that they're playing their games on their desktop and then they're using Action PC, which came out with the ability to put stuff in, or they're using Digital Diamond, or they're using ball score, ball stat, or they're using or Green Fox. Everybody wants to get, because of the stats and because of just being able to print out your box score in a very nice format that people can actually read, not your scribble that you wrote on a piece of paper, and then they want to put it out on the internet and show everybody what they did, especially if it was an incredible game. And so with that being the new methodology or the more likely methodology of many people, and yes, I know before somebody starts yelling at me that there are people out there who love paper and pencil and do paper and pencil, and you see it as commissioner. I'm quite sure they send you screenshots of their paper and pencil, and I'm seeing it in that hoops league already. People are doing box scores and I'm like, poor commissioner. The stat guy. We got this stat guy from England. Metz, I think his name is. Boy, if I'm getting your name wrong, I'm so sorry. But this dude is a whiz at some of the stuff he's done already. Really I got to have this guy on the show. He is never heard of him before, but he is an absolute wizard in the stuff that he has done. Just a whiz. I got to have him on, have him show off his stuff. I'm like, wow, on some of the stuff he's done for basketball, because basketball is just not, baseball, you start to see all these things come out and you go, okay, everybody plays baseball. So there's all these tools, right? And all these external things. This guy's built some stuff for basketball that I just not seen. And it's from the UK.
Wow.
So that to me is just like a combo. You just, as your wow suggests, you just don't expect. Basketball, UK, baseball, maybe. Football, maybe. Basketball, probably not. No, this dude's going to show you. He's going to show you some great stuff. You're going to go, wow. I wonder if he could do some cool stuff for baseball. Anyway, I digress. So somebody wrote, and I already forgot where it was, but somebody wrote, I think it was on Jamie's magazine page, which, by the way, I think is really cool because I love the way he does that. It looks like TV Guide. Here's what you guys should watch tonight.
Yes.
I love that. I just think that's so cool.
I was actually on the phone today with him for about an hour.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
If you talk to him again, I just think what he does is just, it's funny, it's satire at times, but it's just absolutely perfect timing for what's going on right now. It's beautiful. And I literally now look for that to go, what am I watching tonight?
It's so cool. Yeah, it is.
He's talking about this with Phil tonight, or whatever, and I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna go watch that. It's almost hard to keep up with all the shows nowadays. Anyway, so I believe it was on his page that this discussion happened. I could be wrong. No, I think it was on Play's page, now that I think about it. So here was the discussion. The discussion, and I hope I don't get this wrong because I have CTE and I forget everything already within days, but the discussion was somebody saying the developers, their idea, the initial poster's idea was that the developers need to be more forthcoming with their database data so that we don't have to spend entire weekends of uploading data into the tools like Digital Diamond, like Green Fox, like Action PC, so we can enjoy it and get started quicker. And of course, if that data is historical data, we don't need it because all those products pull from Baseball Reference. But the games we've been talking about in this show with Baseball America, with Leap, that data is not there. Right. So the person who posted, and I wish I could give them credit, and I forgot who it was, they posted basically saying that, well, it got into a very large conversation between several different people, including myself and Al Wilson. And what I had said in the thing, because I'm a very big sharer, just because I worked all weekend doesn't mean you have to, is my thought process. That I put in all this work for Baseball America. I got no problem sharing the data files that I have from Digital Diamond with anybody who wants to utilize it, so you don't have to spend all weekend.
Right.
Al was like, hold the freaking horses. That's proprietary data. And that's where the conversation started. Okay. Because I'm like, wait a minute, what could be proprietary about, I'm going to have to put on my glasses here, but what's proprietary? I get how you could get this deep, but about Ahmed Abdi, Am I getting that? There we go. A Baseball America player. Because all I can export, because, and then I start getting into a secondary conversation, which was, not only do I feel like it would be nice if let's just talk apples to apples. Keith released a CSV file with all the players' names, right? Mm-hmm. And I would love other things, but I get why you wouldn't want to, but I would love the defensive ratings in there because I use them on the screen. I'm one of the few people who seem to like that. I love being able to quickly look up and see left fielder's gold. I could just keep going on real fast. I don't want to go through my cards because I don't do the whole 9 cards across the top either. I don't like doing that. It's too messy.
I don't either.
I do the 9 cards in a lineup, and I want to shuffle through them. So I don't want to shuffle through them to find out what the left fielder is. I just have to look up real quick and see his goals, and I can move my games like this. But so I would love that information. I don't need the batting information that's right there in front of me. I don't need the pitching information that's right there in front of me. But I do put that on there. So the things that I add are first and last name and defense and position. That's it.
Okay.
And so my point on that thread was that I would love it. I'm not saying he has to. I'm saying I would love it if Keith released that info. So that I could just, because if I could upload CSV files, I could be a lot faster with this shit. So that's what that person was asking. So it came down to what is considered, proprietary information and what isn't. And I, in the past, as I wrote in that forum, have over asked Keith to the point, because anytime I do anything with his games, because I remember that like the first time I used his games, I got my hand slapped bad in a video. You're showing the charts. Somebody ripped me for like a half hour. And I did, I'm like, I've watched a million people do videos at that point, and all of them showed the charts, but somebody decided to jump on me. Yeah. And so now I never show charts. And I get that. I get why that's proprietary. Yeah. So try not to show the charts. But as another person put, dang, the first time anybody puts out box scores of Baseball America, there's all the names. There's all their positions. So what are you taking that's proprietary again? It's all public information at that point. Where nobody's screaming that you can't post box scores. Nobody's screaming that you can't post a review saying blah, 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 hit 3 home runs on Nashville, whatever. So there's the question that lies there. Where's that line between them providing us? Because think about this. This is how I think about it, at least, Mike, is if you like Digital Diamond, or even if you don't know much about Digital Diamond, and I was to hand you a complete Digital Diamond file ready to go with all the players in it and their defensive ratings, let's just say, or let's just not even say the defensive ratings, and you have to go in and put, there's not that many. There's like 4 a team, so it's not hard to go in and do it yourself. So let's just say the player names and battings left, right type thing, pitching left, right. And all that was in there ahead of time. If you could start tonight playing your games, maybe you buy the set from Keith because you don't have to do all the setup work. One of the things I look at when I do see that shiny new toy, my head goes to the setup and the amount of work I got to do to get that puppy in. And I'm still doing a lot more because me, I do photos and graphics and a bunch of other crap.
Oh yeah.
Because I just can't be bored here. I got to do some crazy stuff, but the thing that takes me the longest is creating. I got to get in, open up a CSV file for Nashville, write down every single player's name, and then I got to put in their position, blah, blah, blah. And right now, I can't import the defensive thing if I wanted to anyway. It doesn't allow for it. You have to manually enter it. It doesn't even allow for the pitcher to be entered as a pitcher, which sucks. There's 4 spots in Digital Diamond. I got to go mark for pitcher. And so that is not, I wish they would open that up as an import area so I could just do it. And so I spent the entire weekend doing 12 teams. Imagine how long it takes to do 32. I gave a huge kind of overview of it all. With everyone moving this way, with this style, because other people were like, well, Status Pro's already in there. Sports Illustrated's already in there.
Yeah.
All the historical teams are already in there. Well, why can't the fictional developers drop their CSV files? And
Mm,
because that's all we're asking for, is just the player names
player names, yeah.
and on each team, and again the position and bat left, bat right, that type of thing. Nothing that says you're giving me your game engine. I'm not asking
Right.
for who's a struggler and who isn't. I'm not
Right.
asking for who's a
Right.
home run king. I don't want that info anyway. It doesn't go into the game. But what are your thoughts on that? Because Ron has been very, I don't want to speak for Ron, but he's said something to the point of like the developers who don't might find themselves behind.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm looking back at setting up the Leap Set project and what I had to do to put it into Green Fox, which is an complex Excel spreadsheet. Um, I had to go in and type in 896 players and position, whether they batted lefty, righty, had to put that in. Uh, that took a long time.
Mm-hmm.
32 teams put their team names, and it took a long time. It's boring. You can only do so many a night, and it's like, okay, I'm done with this. I got to do
Yep.
something else.
Yep.
I want to say it took me well over a week to do that, just to put that in.
Yeah.
To be able to put in 896 players and then a CSV file and import it in and get what I need would have been great. Would have loved it.
Same thing with Blue Fox. Blue Fox is the hockey, right? I
Blue
think.
Fox is hockey. I haven't used that. Yeah.
I had to do that for XHL because I started my own season. So I had to put all those players from XHL into what you did. Now, again, not 32 teams like you had to do. Mm-hmm. I do remember at some point, and I wonder, it doesn't sound like you did, but I remember at one point going, like, I got on like team 8 or something. Again, like you, like, oh my God, I'm so tired of doing this. I almost scrapped it. I almost scrapped the whole project, thinking, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to sit here and do this. So now I'm not interested in the product because I'm having to spend all this time. Now I get it's my own thing. I want to have the scorekeeper, right? But it does become, we buy these games not to do repetitive tasks. That's why I love AI. But I mean, I don't mind putting something. I don't mind going in. There's 4 players who need goal written somewhere. I'll do that. But I don't want to put in 32 teams worth of 25 players on each team onto every team. That seems redonkulous to me. That for somebody who, and I don't know that Keith or anybody else, I know we're picking on Keith because we're playing Keith's games, right? Has thought this through. And nor have I even sat down and asked him until just now because of that conversation. He still hasn't responded to me, by the way. To get that information, that he might not even see the hybrid piece of this, that where it's needed. But I can't imagine he or any developer would think, you got some developers out there throw you their CSV files right away. John Turnbull, others, like here's, you want to, I know what Grant does. He's like, you want to switch around the starting lineups? Here's the CSV file, and his stuff is purchased. So why is it, so to me, it's like just a list of the players' names. I mean, gosh, even Appa like releases a list of the players' name on a sheet, right? For the season. So, it's like just releasing the player names shouldn't be a Senate hearing to get them, in my opinion. I think it should be, I think it's going to at some point be like when you go to, Appa's a great thing that now I just thought about that. It's going to be a text file because they used to have like a text file or PDF file with all the players and the lineups and everything that you can get in Appa. There's going to be a CSV file with the list of the fictional players. Again, don't need it for any set that's historical.
Right.
But if it is a fictional season or includes fictional players like XHL has both, you release a CSV file that is open and available And hell, at one point, I might even pay for it, Mike, because that just is a pain in the freaking ass to do
Yeah.
that. But I would think they would give it up for free. I don't think the names of players that you generated from AI, I guarantee they didn't walk there and do all these names on their own, are company owned material. Like people
Right.
say, once you pop them out there, everybody knows who each one of these, this
Yeah.
isn't, nothing stops everybody from looking at going into Play's Facebook site and could look at every team and do their own. Now they could pull the roster all themselves. Now they got the roster. Woo, go
Right.
for it. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
Put out the same
Nothing.
roster as Keith. I think it was a potential, how do I say this nicely, overreach of power to suggest that we were asking for anything big there. I get it was more of a respect the developer conversation,
Right.
which I can't respect these guys any more than I already do because I'm one of them by trade. But I honestly don't think it's a big deal to ask for that material. I don't think it's a reach. And I think you look at guys like you, imagine you could have got started a week earlier. Kill your eyes over not even playing a game, man. You're not even playing the game. You're just entering names in a spreadsheet that somebody already has. And so that's the part that frustrates me because they have that. And it'd be easy to just pop that out. So, but again, I think it's because they don't know that it matters to us. So we got to, as a community, start saying, you're going to release a fictional set, release the CSV file, release the Kraken.
Release those names, release the names. And I mean, it's only going to be good for the people that have the game.
Right. It really is. It's going to take us quicker into playing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, there's no qualities on there. There's nothing that's going to generate the actual card. And now somebody's got a card that they didn't pay for.
Right. And look, I'm not going to mention the developer. I asked this question. This is another great topic. I asked a developer, why don't you, maybe this is going to single them out, let me think. I don't think it will. But I said, why don't you release your game on PDF? Because this developer talks about the costs of paper, right? And which I get it. It's not expensive. I mean, not cheap. And his answer was his game will never see the light of PDF because he has gone into the dark hole of Discord and other places where he's watched and even received. And somebody actually wrote this in this discussion we're talking about, PDFs being given to them that the person purchased. So they went on and bought it, the old sale, and got the 85 season on PDF and handed it to their buddies. And there's nothing that stops people from doing that outside of, I think I wrote this in the group as well, which is ostracized from this damn community if you ever do that. I would not want to be around anybody who would take developers' work for $15. Really? You're going to hand that to somebody else? Look, I bought, so I'm not tooting my own horn here, but this will just give you the idea of my integrity, which is I wanted Greg Brooking. I don't know if you know Greg. He's in a lot of the sites, but Greg, younger guy. He's in the same area as not Zach. From Cleveland. Micah. My buddy. Micah. And why do I call him Zach all of a sudden? Sorry, I have CTE, guys. So Greg Brooking is, and I hope Greg doesn't mind me sharing this, but I looked up Greg and I looked up his Facebook page and stuff, and I can tell he's a young family man who can't afford everything right now. Okay. I'm just going to say that he's got other things he needs to concentrate on. This hobby is not what his concentration is. I wanted Greg to play in the league, in the basketball Blam League. So I sent Keith the money and an order to get him the game and the cards and even a mat and send it to him. And because I wanted him to play. Oh, could I send him the PDF? Because I have it. I sure as hell could have. At no cost, right? No cost to me. But that's not how I do business.
No.
That's not right.
No.
And I don't even think of the ramifications of Greg saying, "Oh, I got it from John" or something, because he doesn't know any better or whatever. That just, I would never take money out of Keith's pocket.
Right. I don't think anybody would.
Yeah, well,
And
it's obvious there are some, according to what I'm hearing, that we don't think there is, but there's got to be people out there doing it. From what I hear, there's PDFs flying around out there, and that's just a shame. And so that's why this person won't do it. So that's where that line starts to become, what do I allow out there and what don't I? And so that developer said, well, that guy already puts all his stuff on PDF. He might as well hand out a CSV file with the ratings, because it's already all out there anyway. And I'm like, wow, now we're going a whole nother freaking ballpark. But
yeah,
but I think that's really, I think you would agree with me if you ever caught somebody doing that. If somebody said, "Hey, Mike, here's a copy of Stratomatic I got on PDF," be like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Yeah,
I would never
Not
take
worth
that
it.
from someone.
No.
It's just, I don't want to take the money out of them. These guys are not rich millionaires,
Right.
They're barely, most of them are barely hanging in there. And I want you to continue barely hanging in there.
Yep.
So I need to send you the money for the games that I buy. I mean, I do that. If there's some games out there or something, I don't know if you do this, but there's things out there that are like donations for certain things. And I'm like, you spend all your time doing this. I'm using it. I'm going to donate. And I do. And so, and I get everybody can't do all that, but if you can, you should, because the whole idea is that person starts to see that money come in, and that is something to get them to want to do more for us. And so, just using people's stuff and being a user, you're not helping the community, and back your devs, take care of your devs. It's like your waiters, right? If you will, take care of your devs, and don't rip them off by sharing PDFs. That's so low ball. That is the lowest of the low to me. But yeah, so the whole point there is where's that line? And you got some devs who won't put anything on PDF because they're worried about it just being handed around. And then you got others who are handing off their whole freaking file and saying, "Here you go." So I don't know, but I do believe the game is going to a hybrid entry mode. I think more than not, we'll be using it the next 3 years, 2 years already, maybe even using it.
Yeah.
And so I don't think our devs can ignore that.
Right.
With their fictional players only.
Right.
That's what I think. That's my topic for the day. And hopefully if there's any of them out there with their fictional players, you understand that when you hand that set out, some of us look at that as that's a shit ton of work to get that up and rolling. And that shouldn't be my first thought.
Right.
My first thought should be, I can't wait to crack that game open and play. Not, I got to enter in 898 names, like you said. That should not be the first thought. But some of us can't play without that. I can't. I got to have that in there. And especially if you're doing a co-op, you got to have that shit in there.
Yeah.
And it's not available anywhere. It's not like I could buy the Play PC game, you know what I mean? And all those names are there and I can use it. If it was, that's what I would use.
Right.
But you don't have an electronic entry system at all. It's not like Replay or some of the others out there. And so you want to put out, I think somebody said, either on a show or somewhere, that's not what these games are meant for. They're C&D. They're not meant to be on a computer.
Yeah, I've seen that before. To me, though, using Green Fox or anything like that, I'm still playing cards and dice. Whether I've got it, and I've got some kind of a helper that's going to keep the score for me and everything else. I don't agree with those people that say, well, it shouldn't be on your computer screen. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I'm still rolling the dice. I'm still looking up the charts. I'm just putting in the result into a spreadsheet and getting my stats that way. So why would you think you're not playing cards? It shouldn't be on a computer screen.
Yeah. How is it any different than the guy up in the box score in Little League or anywhere, Major League Stadium, who is entering the results of what he's watching on the field into a computer.
Yeah.
All he's doing, he's not making up the results. He's
Yeah.
not saying strike out before the guy Ks. He's not automating what's happening. He's just waiting to what that batter does, and then he enters the results.
Yeah.
And that's all we're doing. The computer piece of C&D that you and I do for hybrid have nothing to do outside of scorekeeping.
Right.
And
it is.
The game is still right here, and I'm putting like on my tab. Right here is my mat, my game booklet, the teams, and then over here is my screen to keep score.
Yep.
That's all. I just don't want to keep score on paper because I can't do anything with that. So I want it here. And again, I got nothing against people who do it the other way, but I like it on the screen. And I really was into ball score and ball stat. That was great. I loved that when I was doing APA. And then I found Digital Diamond, and I thought, wow, this is a really nice integration to see the players on the field. And now I can actually see the defensive ratings. That was the big thing for me when they included the defensive ratings. Now I could quickly look up and see the center fielder's gold, or semi-gold or whatever, and do that. And then I also maybe I'm taking it yet another step, but I also use the pitching component to Digital Diamond only to remind me that guy is thrown. Now you face one batter, it's random. It'll say 3 pitches, it'll say 1 pitch, but it does tell you the batter's faced as well as the amount of pitches. So, and then it turns it orange when he's getting tired and close to his pitch count and his batter faced count, and then it turns it red when he meets it and exceeds it. That doesn't mean I immediately take him out, because in real life, sometimes they let the guy stay out there and see if he can finish the game, if you will. But I love having that to remind me the pitcher is in the 8th inning here, maybe a little tired. Try to keep it really realistic for me. Yeah. So rather than just not see that and not realize, the guy's probably throwing 190 pitches here.
Yeah.
We don't all have Nolan Ryans on our tabletop every day. So anyway, so I use those pieces of it to do it. And then I'm going to add in that I will pop up when I go to do a pinch hitter. I'm still looking at the cards, and I'm going, okay, this guy's got this or this, his slugger, you do that, I'm sure. But I also look at, especially when it's a historical league, I will bring up the list of pinch hitters and see maybe what they did. I can sort versus lefty versus righty, those kind of things are available to me. So just like you may see a coach on a bench with an iPad flipping through, or a Surface tablet, looking through how Jeff Johnson did against so-and-so. And now he's deciding, based on analytics, who to go pinch hit. I'm using that as well. So it's to me, so I'm integrating a little bit, but it does not affect the C&D engine whatsoever of what I'm doing.
You're still playing cards and dice.
Yeah.
The bottom line is that's what you're doing. You're playing cards and dice.
Yeah.
You're using the computer to track stats and things like that.
Yeah, and maybe help me make a decision based on statistical stats that are out there, especially if it's not on the card.
Right.
Yeah, and so most, a lot of games have the stats on the card, so I don't even need to look at the screen. Again, historically, I know what most of them did anyway, so I don't need that. But when I'm playing a fictional league and I've gotten 15, 16 games in, it's nice to see on the bench I got a guy who's 8 for 15. Well, he's gone hot. I'm going to use him. I wouldn't know that otherwise.
Right.
So to me, it's kind of nice to have that. Even if I'm doing a historical league, hey, you got your pinch hitter who's 190, right? You're looking at his stats going, there's no way I'm pinch hitting him, but he's 3 for 4 so far early in the season. Maybe I would go with him. Yeah. Would a manager go with him? He doesn't look at his card and go, he's 190. He's going, hey, this guy I put up 4 times. He's got 3 hits for me. I'm probably going to put him up again. Anyway, I'm going way off, but I just think it's an interesting thing to look at moving forward. I think it's going to have to get released. I think there's going to be more pressure on these devs to give up their fictional players so that we can spend more time playing their game and less time trying to get our tools set up for it.
Right.
And I said, I know somebody else wrote, well, it should be on the people who create the tools to go get that info. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, sure, that'd be great if we could log into Digital Diamond and they had all the payoff pitches stuff, and the payoff pitch doesn't even do. They don't do any fictional, do they? I don't think they do.
They do. I have a fictional set of
from payoff pitch. What is it? I didn't know Joe Bryan did anything fictional.
I'm pretty sure. Or am I thinking the?
I know he's got the like the big winners and big losers sets or whatever, but I assume that was real people. I never bought those.
No, I think those are. I don't have those. I have the Australian Baseball League from him, but I'm pretty sure. It's still. I think it's sitting in a pile over there in my pile of bricks. But I'm pretty sure there is a fictional league.
Okay, but it would just be. Would it be nice to open up Green Fox or open up any of these tools we're talking about and finding fictional seasons from anybody who does fictional leagues? Yes, I'm not, but I don't know that it's on them. But I certainly wouldn't mind. I mean, it's one less thing again. Yet that I wouldn't have to do the import of all the players if they were already all there. And of course, Status Pro has such a, Derek Beckner has such a great thing going with Digital Diamond because the cards are literally on the screen. And so, I mean, he's got a whole, and Sports Illustrated and all that in there. I'm not expecting that, although I know Payoff Pitch is coming out with their own game now on PC, and Replay does a little Strat, shows their own cards on their own game. But I'm not looking, and maybe that's what, kind of like Al Wilson thought I was going somewhere, like at some point having the player card images on the screen. That's up to Play if they ever want to release a PC game for that. That's still not, I like having the cards and on my desk. And I'm a traditionalist that way. Yes, I played some Status Pro Advanced with the cards on the screen. It almost feels like cheating in some way. It just feels different, weird, not flipping through those cards. Having those in my hand is the whole reason I'm in C&D. So I do that once in a while, but I don't last very long. And I always come back to getting something on my tabletop. Got to have the cards. Just like you, I don't like to line them up. The 9 guys across, I want them in my hands. I want the lineups in my hands.
Yeah, and I just flip. Yeah, I flip that. And you're right when it comes to looking through the pile to see if the left fielder is stoic or if he's gold or he's iron. I have to flip through those cards because I don't have it, typed in. There would have been a way to do that in Green Fox early on, but again, it would have been adding more keystrokes to put all that stuff in, and I was just like, what? After I got the
oh my god!
After I got the 896 in, that was enough for me. And I said, for me, I can flip through the cards pretty quickly. And what I'll do is I've got a little notepad on the side. I'll write it down because it'll probably come up a couple more times during the series. Now I've got the little note card on the side. And I just look over there. Now I know, okay, Pittsburgh shortstop is gold. I don't have to worry about
you're gonna eventually memorize it anyway. Because like I said, what is there? Maybe 3 or 4 people.
3 or 4 guys.
And like I've already got like one of the teams, their catcher for Nashville. I already know he's gold because I just had looked so many times in the last game. I know the guy's gold. It's just already stuck with me. And he's a fictional player. I know he's a goal. It's not that. That's why I say it's not that big a deal. I just like it. It's just part of the quick system now that I just look right up at that screen. Boom. But can I start a season without that? Hell yeah. If all the players were in there, I still probably would go in and do it just because now I'm like, well, I don't have to do all that. This is going to be real quick for me. But I just think it's something that would improve our experiences and not have a guy like Mike go in and spend a week trying to prep for a league when there's no more excitement you have than the start. And when you're doing a bunch of legwork, that sucks to get to, especially when it's legwork, that's not exciting. You're not looking through all these players like Fred Lynn and all the players of the past or whatever. Even that, you're looking at just a bunch of names, getting them in. I mean, nothing to you at this point.
No, and then try putting in 2,592 games into that
Oh, from the
spreadsheet.
scheduler.
The
Uh,
schedules,
yeah.
putting that in because I didn't have a there's no major league schedule out there with 32 teams. And I used, and I probably did things wrong, but I used the chat GP to try and do it.
Mhm.
And I kept looking at it and I said, nah, this
Yeah.
isn't what I want. This isn't
It's not a good
working.
scheduler.
And out of the blue one night, I was just sitting there and I said, Mike, you bowled in a league years ago that had 32 teams in it, took up the whole house. It was a 32 team league, 35-week season. I said, I could use that as a basis for this schedule. And so I went to the American Bowling Congress webpage, and sure enough, they had
Oh,
a.
awesome.
So that's what I used to create this schedule for the league.
That's really cool.
But it took a lot of work because it was a lot of putting it. The first few were okay. And then what you had to do is kind of do copy paste, scroll down the page, add them to the page, and yeah, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. When I finally got done with that, I was exhausted. 2 weeks, probably 2.5 weeks to set that league up, and I was like,
For
now I
setup.
gotta play. Now I'm gonna play games,
Yeah.
But but now
Well,
that
at
I
that
did all,
point, at
yeah,
that point though, you're going to feel really horrible if you don't play games. You just did all that damn work.
yeah,
You know?
absolutely. But
But
it
just
went,
as an FYI, Digital Diamond struggles with that too. On it, it's got a custom scheduler maker, but
hmm
it tells you right in there that if you try to use, I forget the number, more than X number of teams, like I want to say over 24, it will literally it tells you to run it and go to bed and check on it the next day.
um,
Um,
yeah,
and of course, it's only one night of doing it, and you don't have to do it. But I haven't heard anybody in like the groups or forums say it works. I did it for this for Baseball America, 12 teams,
hmm
162 games, and it gave it to me right away. And it looks
okay,
like it did a really nice job of 3 game series on the weekend, 2 on Monday, 2 on Wednesday, Thursday, 3 game series, two and occasionally giving day offs. So from what I looked at it real quick and was like, okay, this
hmm
looks pretty good. But to find a 32 teamer, even Digital Diamond says on there, it's gonna struggle to do it correctly. It's
yeah,
just hard to do that. There's no great schedule makers out there, and you're right. I prompt Chat GPT to death and gave it a huge change, and it was really hard to do. The only other thing I would have said to you is find a professional schedule and just change the names. But it's hard to find a 32 team league playing
well,
that
that
many
was it.
games.
Yeah, if Keith had left it at 30, I could have mimicked Major League Baseball today and
Right.
just use that. But because the two expansion teams, now you got 32 teams, and it was like,
Yeah.
okay, trying to find, and it was so funny that it came through one night. I was sitting there,
Bowling.
and
Yeah,
it just
that's just
popped in my
crazy.
head, and I said, well, what are the chances I can find that schedule out on the bowling congress? Because I said, bowling over the years is not what it's been in the past, and teams have shrunk, leagues have shrunk. And I
Yeah.
said, this probably doesn't even exist, but it was out there. And I was like, I was so happy when I saw that. I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
is, still a lot of work, but it made it work. So, you know,
Absolutely. That's great. I
yep,
mean, and
yep.
so wrapping up, Mike is inviting anybody who wants to jump in and jump into his leap to set. Invites anybody to jump into playing him at IndyCon when he's there. He'll show it off, and I'll be bringing my car set with me. So if anybody wants to just sit in the corner on a 2 o'clock in the morning and play a series, I'm sure
Serious?
Mike will give you one and let you
Yep.
run with it and just
Yeah,
give them the
absolutely.
results afterwards. Talk about a time that you would use pencil and paper. Unless you got your laptop with you or something, that's the time to use the pencil and paper, I guess. But
Yeah, it'll probably be pen. Yeah, because I've got that on the laptop that I don't travel with. I have another laptop that I travel with that
yeah,
if something happens to it,
yeah,
I didn't put the program on there because it's a little bit older. something happens to it when I travel, that's fine.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's not a big deal. If I'm scoring in paper and pencil, I can read my writing. I can take a game that I get from somebody and I can put it in probably 5 to 7 minutes. I could put a 9 inning game in because I've got the score sheet in front of me. If I can read it, and most of them are all I can read now. So it's boom, 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 boom. I'm in. Run the
Yeah.
stats. Go to the next game. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it goes fairly quickly.
I wonder, the last question here, real quick, because I
Mhm.
was thinking about that guy Matt, who does, and I hope I'm saying his name right, the British guy I was talking about from Basketball League. When I told him that, I said, hey, I could probably get, because some people were giving him plain sheets of paper. I said, those are images. I can probably run them through my scanner and get you a better kind of CSV type file or whatever of that
Mhm.
information. And he said, no, that's okay. I actually relived the game walking through it and seeing the paper. And he says he actually enjoys it and he feels like he's immersed in the game when he's doing it. I'm like, wow, that dude he's got a heck of a head on his
Yeah.
shoulders. But
It is
I
true
would,
though. Yeah,
you
it's
just kind
true.
of,
You
instead
do
of
get
just
him.
popping it in, you're seeing how many home runs were hit and
Yeah.
who had a good game and RBIs and blah, 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 or who
Or
had a
who
really bad game.
Yep, or who Brad put in, how many pinch hitters did he use, things like that. So yeah, it's
Sacrifice
fun.
hits.
Exactly, it's fun, and it gets me familiar with the teams that I haven't played yet.
Yeah.
Especially the teams that are run by other people. The only way I would
Yeah.
play them was with on the home team.
Yeah.
So I played Micah a few weeks ago. He was the home team, so I didn't play Cleveland at all.
Yeah.
Uh, so, and I won't play Cleveland at all this year. So,
Yeah.
because he'll be playing that. So
Yeah.
there are teams that I'm not familiar with, but as
Yeah, which is probably cool to get familiar with the player names and who's doing
yeah,
what and blah blah blah.
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
that's pretty
yep,
cool.
yep.
One I keep thinking of one last thing every time, but I think I told you this story about Kirby Puckett in my '80s league.
Yep, yep,
So I'm going to
yes,
tell everybody here because it's just really funny. And this is on the Dice Know show. Um,
yep.
so I'm playing that '80s tournament, and Chat did a fantastic job setting that Division 3, 4 format, all that stuff on my spreadsheet. And I went in and screwed it up by marking Y's and N's on teams that advance, and I wasn't supposed to do it yet. And it screwed up my Division 3 matchups. And so the first game I went in to play, I thought was Seattle against Minnesota, and I don't remember the year, but that was the matchup. And so I played it, and it was 19-1 Minnesota. It was an absolute blowout. And Kirby Puckett hit for the cycle. Well, I've had a few cycles in my time. I don't know how many, but there's not a lot of them. I have more fingers than I have cycles for sure. But I'm like, oh man, he did it. And literally after I finished the game, I even posted it and then realized, wait a minute, Seattle, that team was horrible. There's no way they won their Division 4 game. So I went back and looked, and they didn't win their Division 4 game. I'm like, oh crap, this is all. So I'm yelling at Chad. Of course, it can't be my fault. Got to be Chad's.
Right.
What'd you do? And it's like, give me the spreadsheet. I'll figure out what we did wrong. And sure enough, why he said you were supposed to do that yet. And I'm like, oh, that's why. So I had to pull the game off my box score page, take them off, and now I got to replay them against whoever he replayed it against. I don't remember the team they played, St. Louis or somebody. And sure enough, I don't know if they won or lost, but the point is that Puckett went 0 for 6.
Of course.
So the cycle is gone. It's
Gone.
mythical. It didn't even happen. It's nowhere, anywhere. It's out in hyperspace, and he gets tagged with an 0 for 6 instead. And I think Minnesota scored like 15 runs or something still in the second game they played. The team they played correctly, but he went 0 for 6, and I'm like, seriously.
Yeah.
How does that happen? The cycle followed by 0 for 6,
Yeah.
But the dice knew that
Dice,
I screwed up, and it was like it was going to get me back for letting Kirby Puckett get a non-cycle game. But anyway, you just never know what's going to happen with the dice, right?
That's one thing I've never done. I don't think I've had a batter hit for the cycle.
Wow.
I've had a couple of no hitters, but not not a bad. I've had batters. I had uh, one batter in my tournament with a 73 versus 98 set by play, and I can't remember who it was. Actually, it might have been. I don't know who it was. It was Caminiti. Hit
Mm.
4 home runs in one game.
Oh my God. I don't think I've ever had that. I think three
Four
is the most
home
I've ever had.
4 home runs in one game in
Why'd you pitch to him the fourth
in that
time?
tournament. I have no idea
I
why.
always wonder. That's a show by itself, right? Do you pitch to a guy who has 3 home runs? Because in real life, would you? Probably not. Depending on the scenario, probably not. But
Mhm.
but you're setting on C and D immortality type thing,
Yeah,
or a guy who's going for the cycle. He's 4 for 4, he's 3 for 4, and he just needs a double. Am I going to pitch to him? And it's like So that'd be an interesting show. I remember this one. You'll have this one, Boston. I was posting a box score on the payoff pitch group back in my 86 season. And I don't remember the reason I posted the box score, but there was something special about the game that I was trying to get across. And somebody goes, Dwight Evans hit for the cycle. And I was like, what? And I look at the box score. Holy shit, he did hit for the cycle. I didn't even know it.
yeah.
Somebody pointed it out from the group, the Facebook group. And
Wow.
So I've had that happen. And it just didn't even pay attention to the box. I mean, I was into the game, and I think it was like a 10-8 game or something. It was crazy. There was so much going on with the game that I missed that he hit for the cycle. I think it was 5 for 5 and hit for the cycle. I think I was keying in as 5 for 5 and 6 RBIs or something. And I just didn't even look double, triple, home run. But somebody else caught it right away as soon as I put it up. They were like, dude, you realize Evans hit for the cycle. I'm like, what?
I've had a situation where a guy hit 3 home runs, and the last time he had a shot at 4 home runs, and it was one of those deep drive, and it went. Actually, I think, believe it or not, it went to the glove in play. Where you go to that glove, and if the outfielder is gold, he leaps and robs he robbed him of his 4th home run.
Oh.
And then the funny part was the next batter got hit by the pitch, and I'm like, "Geez, pitcher, you almost gave up 4 home runs. You think you would have hit the guy that had hit the 3 home runs? You would have pitched him inside and hit him. No, you hit the next guy up who had nothing to do with almost hitting 4 home runs."
If you go back to my first game with this set, I'm pretty sure it was the first game. You'll see, I believe 4 guys hit in the first game. I couldn't believe it. I was like, hit by pitch. It was like, wow, I couldn't believe. And I don't know if you do this, but I do the decider roll to whether or not he hit them, because it says, you've got that little asterisk that tells you to see if he hit the batter or not.
Yeah, it's 2-2-6, and then if the decided die comes up. Yeah,
I know some people don't do that. They do the hit right away. I do the decider dice, and still 4 guys got hit. I got all 4 came up with the decider dice.
Wow.
And so, and I believe 1 guy twice. And I was like, well, this is a brawl. This is a brawl for sure. This is opening day, and I got a brawl in the Baseball America League.
Yeah, somebody out there plays a homebrew where if there's one batter gets hit in the top of the first and then the bottom first another, then they get warned, and if somebody else gets, then both pitchers get
I have one for payoff pitch.
Oh, do you?
I have a homebrew for payoff pitch where I haven't pulled it over for other games, but I do have it for payoff because I had that long season. So I came up with that probably about a quarter way into the season. And I said, this, because now I started getting stories, and I'm like, well, this guy hit a home run off him last Saturday, and here they are facing each other again Thursday, almost a week later. And, he hit him on the first batter of the game or whatever, first time up. And I'm like, that is at least an argument waiting to happen. And so I ended up doing with the payoff pitch numbers. If I remember, they're like 11 to 60. I don't remember what their number thing is off the top of my head, but I ended up coming up with my own chart of whether he just argues with him, whether he charges the mound, and then how many people are ejected, blah, blah, blah. But again, I don't do injuries because I was doing it as played. So, but I do in every game I play, always do. If anybody gets tossed out or injured, they're out for the game. But I don't do the length afterwards. So
Right.
because
Right.
box scores, I mean, sure, you can look at box scores and see a guy was 0 for 1 or 0 for 2 and looks like he got pulled out,
Hmm.
but you don't know for sure. But
Right.
so unless you follow that every single box score, like and
Right.
know you got to take the guy out after 2 at bats, that's crazy. So I just figure it
Yep.
works itself out. You
Yep.
know, he got
Yep.
pulled because he popped a ham or feels like he popped a hamstring or sore. He twisted
Yep.
his ankle. He needs to
Yep.
leave. I pop in a pinch runner. That
Yep.
guy's in for the rest of the game. I do it all the time for the injuries, but I don't keep them out. But yeah.
Right.
Anyway, lots of fun stuff, man.
Yeah.
Well, hey, this has
Absolutely.
been Mike giving us a great update on Leap and me babbling on about my stuff. And both of us hope to see you in Indy, and we can sit down just like this, pull up a chair. Mike and I will pull up a chair
Yep.
with you, and we'll sit down and play some games, have some fun while we're in Indy.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
hope to see you guys all there. I know I'll see you there, Mike. Can't wait.
Yep. Yep.
And thanks for joining tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. Good
All
time.
right.
All right. See you guys.